My child, stop. Before another thought rushes in, before another distraction steals this moment, stop. I am speaking. Right now. And what I'm about to say is not random, not recycled, not for the crowd. It's for you. This moment is divinely timed, heaven ordained, and carries a weight that eternity will remember. You didn't stumble across this. I summoned you here. Here's something I've been trying to get through to you, and this is the moment your spirit finally catches it. So don't click away. Don't scroll past. Don't silence what I'm finally saying out loud. Watch this all the way through, not casually, but as if everything depends on it. Because something in you is about to unlock. What's been delayed is about to shift. And by the end of this, you'll never be able to say, I didn't hear God speak. You're accountable now because I'm here. And I'm not whispering, I'm roaring. Here is something I must say to you that cannot wait another moment. This is not a passing idea, a hopeful encouragement, or a sweet whisper of sentiment. This is a divine summons. Heaven has aligned this exact moment like a constellation written in eternity's ink, designed just for your eyes, your heart, your spirit. I'm not coming to you with suggestion. I'm coming with sacred urgency. You didn't stumble into this word. You didn't pause by chance. I orchestrated this encounter down to the breath in your chest right now. There is a divine collision taking place, where my eternal plan meets your present timeline. And beloved, when divinity collides with humanity, nothing stays the same. You've grown used to interruptions that steal, notifications that distract, thoughts that spiral, responsibilities that pile high like mountains before your soul. But this interruption is different. This is not the kind that takes something from you. This is the kind that gives you back what you lost. I am breaking into your moment not to disrupt your life, but to redirect it into what was always meant to be. I've been watching you race ahead, juggle pressures, keep pace with expectations you were never meant to carry. And now, I'm saying with heaven's authority, stop. Not because you failed, not because you're behind, but because I have arrived to realign you with what your soul has been groaning for in the silence. I'm not asking you to abandon your dreams. I'm asking you to pause long enough to receive my dream for you, which had been waiting in my hands, fully formed, holy, and perfectly timed. The traffic of your thoughts cannot carry this word. It requires stillness. And so I say again, stop, my child. For what I speak next holds the power to change everything. Beloved, listen to me. I did not wait for the world to get quiet before I decided to speak. I didn't wait for your schedule to clear, your mind to calm, or your strength to return. I stepped into this moment, yes, this one, when your hands are full, your soul feels thin, and your strength is flickering like a candle in wind. Because now is holy. Now is ripe. Now is when your heart is finally cracked enough for me to pour into it without resistance. You've been trained by time to believe that moments of encounter must be quiet, polished, prepared, but I am not bound by calm surroundings. I choose moments that are raw, real, messy, and unexpected. This urgency you feel in your chest right now, it's not anxiety. It's me. My spirit has been brushing against your atmosphere all day, waiting for your soul to recognize my rhythm. I am not speaking to a crowd. I am speaking to you. And I need your full attention. Not distracted. Not double-minded. Not halfway. I need your eyes locked on me, your spirit alert, your heart open like a window during a storm. There's a reason this couldn't wait until later. Later would have been too late. Later would have missed the divine opening that only this moment carries. You see time as linear, but I see time as layered, sacred, pulsing with divine possibility. Right now, there is a gate swinging open that you cannot see with natural eyes. It's a window in the spirit, a divine intersection where everything begins to shift. But to step through it, you must be here, fully present. I didn't whisper. I thundered in the unseen realm. I didn't schedule this for when it was convenient. I scheduled this for when it was consecrated. And that's why you feel the trembling inside, that stirring that won't let you ignore me anymore. You've brushed off these moments before, telling yourself you'll come back to it, listen later, pause eventually. But this one cannot be revisited. This is not just a good word, it is God's word in real time. This is not just comfort, it is activation. I am not preparing to move. I am already moving, and I am inviting you to step into the river before it rushes past. Beloved, what you think is just another day is actually the hinge of your story. Right now, I'm folding timelines like pages and pressing your chapter open before me. I am not caught off guard by your condition. In fact, I scheduled this visitation knowing exactly how tired you'd feel, how distracted your mind would be, how fragile your trust has become. That's why now is perfect. That's why now is divine. I'm not looking for your best version. I'm here for the real you. The one trembling behind smiles, the one still hoping despite disappointment, the one reading these words wondering if they were really meant for you. Yes, you. The one who questioned whether I still speak, whether I still see, whether I still show up in the mess of it all. I do. And I have. And I am. My beloved, this is not symbolic. It's supernatural. Your spirit heard my knock, and your breath paused long enough to answer. Don't miss what I've hidden in this now. Because I didn't come to soothe you. I came to send you. I didn't come with love. I came with fire. So stop asking for a more peaceful time to encounter me. Peace isn't the absence of noise. It's the presence of me. And I have stepped into this exact second to release a chain of divine events that will rewrite the rhythms of your days. You've been crying out for me to speak. And now that I am, do not silence me with your busyness. Stop whatever you're doing and look up. Lean in and listen. Because this isn't just your now. It's my now. And when my now and your now collide, nothing stays the same. Look back for just a moment, child. Not in regret, but in reverence. Can you feel the weight of every valley, every heartbreak, every delay, every detour? Every why that never got answered, every how long you whispered into your pillow, every please don't forget me that spilled from your soul in the night. You see it now. How none of it was wasted. How every single fragment of your story was stitched with holy intention. You thought you were just surviving, but I was writing. I was weaving glory into your grief, purpose into your pressure, sanctification into your storms. And now, we've arrived at this sacred pause, the holy inhale between what was and what is becoming. This breath isn't empty. It's thick with my presence. It's heavy with the breath of heaven. You've reached the sacred middle, the hinge between suffering and glory, between the pain of the past and the promise of the next page. You think you need to run ahead to find answers, but I am calling you to pause because the answer is found in me. In this moment, in this divine stillness, you are standing on a threshold where the unseen is beginning to shake loose. Your tears have watered the ground. Your prayers have echoed through realms. And now, the silence is beginning to shift. I've called the wind to change direction. I've commanded the atmosphere to respond to my voice. Heaven is leaning low, not in pity but in preparation. This is the moment where all that has been layered, delayed, and hidden comes forward with holy clarity. Don't rush this. Don't treat this as just another pause in your day. This is the pause. This is the moment where I reveal the blueprints hidden in your burdens. This is where heaven doesn't just visit, it invades. I am reaching for the depths of you, not just the visible parts you show to others. I want the aching places, the ones you haven't dared to speak of lately. I want the questions that tremble on the edge of your faith. I want the fatigue behind your faithfulness, the frustration behind your fire. Let me breathe into them, child. Let me fill the space that disappointment carved. This is not a service moment. This is soul to soul, breath to breathe. I'm not touching the edges of your life. I'm entering the inner chamber. The veil is thin right now, so thin you can almost feel it. The collision of heaven and earth is not a theory. It's happening as you read these words. This is your upper room moment. This is your burning bush. This is your divine resting, where I stop everything to speak everything. So don't move on too fast. Don't scroll away from sacred space. I didn't bring you here for a fleeting inspiration. I brought you here for impartation. I am giving you more than comfort. I am releasing clarity. I'm shifting you from wandering to walking. But you must pause long enough to let my spirit settle upon you. I am pouring oil in places that cracked from pressure. I am turning pain into power, waiting into wisdom, silence into strategy. You have not missed your moment. You have arrived in it. And all of heaven had been holding its breath for this very pause. Now inhale deeply. Let my spirit fill your lungs, your mind, your soul. Because when you exhale, you will walk forward not as who you were, but as who I've been preparing you to become. Child, your soul has been swimming in a sea of sound. Voices pulling you in every direction. Voices of fear whispering that you're behind. Voices of pressure reminding you of everything you haven't done. Voices of others shaping your worth with words I never spoke. You've been living on a diet of distractions, of half thoughts and split focus. The to-do lists, the deadlines, the opinions, the silent expectations. They've layered themselves over your spirit like fog, dulling the sound of my whisper, airing the clarity of my call. But I never stopped speaking. I've been waiting patiently, watching you scroll, shuffle, strive, longing for one still second where I could step in and break through. And now, in the middle of the noise, I say, stop. I am not angry. I am not impatient. I am near, and I am jealous for your undivided heart. I don't want to compete with the chaos. I want to conquer it. I didn't design you to be constantly distracted, spiritually starved, emotionally stretched, and mentally drained. The tightness in your chest, that lingering sense of arrest, it's not just busyness. It's bondage. It's the slow erosion of your awareness of me. But I am stepping in like a divine interruption, and I'm clearing the room of your heart. I'm not whispering so you strain to hear me. I'm silencing the storm so you can't miss me. Yes, I'm pulling the plug on the pressure. I'm turning down the volume of every false voice. I'm drawing a sacred circle around this moment so that heaven's language can enter your atmosphere unfiltered, unchallenged, unmuted. Don't you see? All those opinions, those obligations, those agendas, they were never your assignment. You've been exhausted trying to meet demands I never placed on your shoulders. You've been trying to make everyone else comfortable while your spirit grows weary. Your voice gets quieter, and your peace gets buried beneath performance. But I never asked you to be everyone's savior. I only asked you to be mine. I called you to carry purpose, not pressure. I didn't ask for perfection. I asked for permission to speak into the places you shut off because they've been shouted over too many times. So here I am, silencing the static, clearing the spiritual stage, pulling your heart into a holy pause. This is not just a quiet time. It's a cleansing. And in this hush, in this divine stillness, I am restoring something rare and sacred, your sensitivity to me. You will feel me again. Hear me again. Trust me again. I'm not just calming your mind. I'm reclaiming your heart. So stop striving. Stop performing. Stop running for one breath and just be here with me. Because in the stillness, I'm not just speaking. I'm healing, realigning, and breathing new life into the places you forgot existed. Let the voices fade. Let the noise die. Let every obligation fall like dust to the floor. This is my moment with you, and I refuse to let it be shared. I set this time apart to break through everything that tried to keep you bound. I've cleared the heavens to deliver a message meant only for you, and I will not let distraction steal it. I am here, child, and I'm not leaving empty-handed. You've worn yourself thin looking everywhere but here. You've dug through books, asked friends, searched the internet, and even scrolled through prayers disguised as posts, hoping to stumble upon something that would finally make it all make sense. You've whispered questions into the air, wondering why I felt silent, why the guidance felt blurry, why nothing seemed clear enough to act on. But beloved, clarity was never hidden from you. It was waiting in stillness. You thought you had to chase down answers, but the answer was waiting for you to slow down enough to hear me. You weren't being ignored, you were being invited. Invited to a holy hush, to a sacred frequency that only stillness can unlock. You see, my voice doesn't scream to compete. It stands still. It doesn't chase the crowd. It waits for the surrendered. It doesn't echo in chaos, it creates calm. I am not hiding your future from you. I am hiding it for you. In the quiet places, away from the counterfeit voices that would try to claim what I'm about to release. What you need isn't found in endless striving or obsessive seeking. What you need is me. My voice. My presence. My direction. That is the answer you've been unknowingly craving through every restless night and every frantic plan. I'm not just a solution. I'm the source. I'm not just the answer to your question. I'm the fulfillment of your ache. And here's the secret your spirit already knows. Stillness isn't just the absence of movement. It's the presence of trust. When you become still, you're not just stopping the hustle. You're making space for heaven to invade. And I am speaking now, in this very pause. You're hearing my voice not because you finally figured it out, but because you finally let go. You're not just being comforted. You're being clarified. I'm untangling the web of questions that's wrapped itself around your faith. I'm whispering truths that will outlast every temporary answer you tried to chase. You wanted a map, but I'm giving you me, because I am the way. I am the voice that leads without confusion, the truth that breaks illusions, the light that doesn't flicker with opinion. And in this moment, I'm not hiding. I'm highlighting. Highlighting the path through peace, not panic. Through my whisper, not your worry. So breathe, beloved. You've run long enough. You've reached. You've reasoned. Now it's time to rest in the reality that the answer isn't somewhere else. It's here. With me. I am not a concept to study. I am a person to encounter. My voice is not vague background noise. It is the frequency of fulfillment, the cadence of calling, the sound of love that does not lie. And when I speak, I don't bring suggestions, I bring solutions. When I move, I don't bring delay, I bring deliverance. I am the still small voice that splits the mountains, that parts the seas, that writes destinies. And I'm speaking now, not through noise, but through knowing. You don't need to keep searching. You found what your soul was reaching for all along, me. Let my voice settle you. Let my presence anchor you. The answers are not out there anymore. The answer is here. My child, I know you've questioned the quiet. I felt your aching thoughts echo through the silence, wondering if I was distant, distracted, disengaged. You've interpreted my stillness as disinterest, my delay as detachment. But I must tell you the truth now. My silence has never been the sound of absence. It has been the sound of approach. I do not shout over noise. I do not force my way into your moments. I wait until the chambers of your spirit are ready to receive not just my words, but my weight. Silence hath been my strategy, not my withdrawal. You've mistaken the hush for hiding, but in truth, I've been drawing closer. So close, in fact, that even your breath is starting to recognize the rhythm of my nearness. What felt like divine distance was actually holy proximity, pressing against the boundaries of your awareness, waiting for you to slow down and sync your heartbeat with mine. You see, I don't always announce my presence with thunder. Sometimes I come cloaked in stillness so thick it forces you to listen with more than your ears. I speak in layers, not volume. I've been in the delay, in the detour, in the unanswered questions. I was not absent when you stared at the ceiling wondering if anyone heard your silent prayers. I was not indifferent when you felt your strength unravel beneath expectations. I was there, in every sigh, in every pause, in every stretch of time where you thought nothing was happening. I wasn't ignoring you. I was igniting something deeper within you. Because what I'm doing in this season isn't surface level. It's subterranean. And deep moves require deep silence. I've been preparing the soil of your spirit, protecting your roots, pruning your dependencies so that when I pour, nothing leaks. And now I need you to shift. I need your spirit to catch up to where I've already gone. I am not speaking to your circumstances. I am speaking to you. I am ahead of your schedule, beyond your plans, above your fears. I am standing in your tomorrow while you're still measuring your today. And I need you to come up higher, not by striving, but by surrendering. Let your heart awaken again. Let your spirit rise from the fog. You've been moving through your days with your eyes open and your soul asleep. But I am breathing on you now to rouse you into awareness. You don't need more noise, you need revelation. And I am releasing it now, in this whisper, in this sacred stop. Everything you've been sensing, the restlessness, the strange sense that something is near, it was not imagination. It was me. The closer I get, the more your flesh will feel unsettled, but your spirit will feel stirred. Attention isn't something to avoid, it's something to interpret. So hear me, beloved. My silence was never abandonment. It was alignment. I was positioning you for this very moment. I have not been waiting for you to perform. I've been waiting for you to perceive. Because now the veil is lifting. Now the timing is right. And now I will speak again. But this time, it will not be through thunder. It will be through tenderness. My silence wasn't a void. It was a womb. And what I've been forming there is about to be born. Don't run from the quiet anymore. Run into it. Because what once felt like emptiness is about to echo with encounter. And this time, when you hear me, you'll realize I was never far. I was always closer than your next breath. Child of my heart, come close and listen carefully. I know how often you felt invisible, how you've watched others get called forward, promoted, praised, seen. I've seen you applaud while quietly wondering, when will it be my turn? I've watched the way you've lowered your expectations, not out of humility but out of heartbreak. Somewhere along the way, you started believing the lie that being unseen meant being unloved. But that lie has no home in my heart. Because I never forgot you. I never overlooked you. I never skipped over your name in the registry of destiny. In fact, while others were being rushed into the spotlight, I was reserving you in the secret place. Not because you weren't ready, but because what I'm preparing you for requires a level of depth that shortcuts cannot deliver. You are not a leftover. You are a hidden treasure. I've been cultivating you in silence, not because you were less important, but because you are irreplaceable. The anointing on your life isn't ordinary, and so your preparation could not be either. I did not allow you to be released prematurely because I refused to let your destiny be mishandled by exposure that's not anchored in intimacy. You've been on the back row, in the background, often feeling like your significance was shrinking. But what you didn't know was that I was building something bigger than you dared to dream. I was setting the stage not for a temporary moment of applause, but for a legacy that echoes eternity. I don't write small stories, and I don't invest my glory in shallow soil. That's why I let you be refined in silence, carved in the quiet, and shielded in the shadows. Because what's coming next will be man-made. It will be heaven-sent. Beloved, you were not disqualified. You were distinguished. While others were being launched, you were being layered. While they were collecting platforms, you were collecting promises. And now, the fullness of time is drawing near. The oil I've been pressing out of your hidden seasons is too precious to be spilled in unprepared places. That's why I reserved you, not to punish you, but to protect what I'm about to release through you. This isn't favoritism. It's faithfulness. I've watched you keep showing up when no one clapped. I saw you plant seeds in ground that looked barren, and bless others while your own arms ached with unanswered prayers. Heaven recorded every moment. Not one tear missed my hand. Not one act of obedience was overlooked. You are not forgotten. You are foretold. You were never one of many. You were always one of one. And now, I'm drawing back the veil. You will begin to see what I've been orchestrating all along. People will ask you, where did they come from? But I will know you didn't come from nowhere. You came from near me. You've been walking with me in hidden places, and now I will walk with you into places others tried to strive into without intimacy. This unveiling will be sudden, but not rushed. It will be glorious, but not chaotic. It will be seen by many, but understood by few. Because you were reserved, not because you were lacking, but because you were loaded with heaven. And what you carry is not for trends. It's for transformation. So stop questioning your worth. Stop comparing your pace. I held you back only to launch you further. And now, the reserve is lifting. The revealing has begun. That stirring in your chest, the unease that pulses like a drumbeat you can't silence. That's not confusion, child. It's confirmation. You've been walking through your days, trying to shake it off, labeling it as anxiety, calling it overthinking, wondering why your peace keeps slipping through your fingers. But I need you to hear me clearly. What you've been feeling isn't an interruption of your peace. It's the ignition of your purpose. That uncomfortable sense that something is shifting, the sudden lack of satisfaction in what used to soothe you, the hunger for more even when you're already tired, that is me. That is your spirit responding to the movement of my spirit. I've already begun something new beneath the surface of your life, and now I'm awakening your awareness to catch up with what I've already set in motion. I'm not disturbing you to harm you. I'm disrupting you to heal you. This divine discontent is the sound of old alignments breaking and new assignments being born. You prayed for breakthrough, and now that the walls are trembling, you're asking why things feel uncertain. But child, walls never fall quietly. When I move with intention. I don't whisper when I need you to wake up. I thunder softly through the fibers of your soul until you can no longer ignore the tremble. This isn't panic. This is prophecy unfolding in your bones. I'm calling you to attention because the shift is already underway, and I don't want you to miss what your prayers have invited. You don't need to fear this unfamiliar stretch. It's me enlarging the borders of your faith, expanding the tent of your belief, pulling you into alignment with promises you didn't even know were this close. The reason your routines feel hollow, the reason your appetite for the familiar has faded, the reason your comfort zones now feel constricting, it's because you've outgrown where you've been. I've been enlarging you, not externally, but internally. This is an expansion of spirit. Your capacity for me has grown, and now your environment must stretch to match it. You can't live in yesterday's assignments with today's anointing. And so I've stirred the waters. I've unsettled what once felt secure. Not to punish you, but to prepare you. Because what I'm doing next requires a new rhythm, a new room, a new response. You've been feeling like everything is shaking, but the truth is, you are shaking things. Your obedience is unsettling strongholds. Your prayers are rattling ceilings. Your quiet yes is disturbing the atmosphere around you. To lean into the unrest. Don't run from the tension. Don't label this as breakdown. It's birthing. What you're carrying is too sacred to remain stagnant. I've allowed the ground beneath you to quiver because new ground is forming under your feet. I'm not leading you into chaos. I'm leading you through transition. You asked for movement. This is it. You asked for clarity. This is how it comes. Not all storms come to destroy. Some come to reveal what was always unshakable. And child, that's what I'm showing you now. Let the shaking do its work. Let the stirring awaken what was dormant. Because what you're feeling is not the end. It's the beginning of the holy shift I've already begun. You were scrolling, pausing, glancing through moments, as if this was just another passing breath in an ordinary day. But child, this is not ordinary. This is sacred. This is the second heaven pressed pause on everything else to focus its voice into your timeline. I need you to see it the way I see it. I need you to realize that the timing of this word, this encounter, this divine sentence brushing your spirit, it was not a coincidence. It was a convergence. This moment hath been written into the archives of eternity since before time began. It is a scheduled visitation from the divine, a holy intersection where your weary journey meets my fresh instruction. The heavens have turned their gaze toward you, not in generality, but in pinpoint accuracy. This is not a brush with inspiration. This is a break-in from heaven. You've called this ordinary because you didn't expect such glory to descend into such a mundane moment. But I specialize in divine ambushes, showing up in the middle of routine to release revelation. You were just trying to make it through the day. I was orchestrating a breakthrough. You were simply surviving your next breath. I was preparing to flood it with fresh wind. What you call coincidence, I call confirmation. You didn't just stumble onto this word. Your spirit was led. Your heart was summoned. Your eyes were drawn. And now, here we are, standing in a moment that eternity has waited for. This message, these words, they are not mass-produced. They are tailor-made. I am not speaking broadly. I am speaking directly to you. Because I have seen what others haven't. I have heard what you dared not speak. I have watched the days pile high with pressure, watched the nights sink deep with questions. And I knew, this would be the moment your heart would be soft enough, your walls cracked enough, your faith stretched enough to receive what you couldn't carry before. This isn't just a comfort word. This is a commissioning. This is the moment where the mundane becomes miraculous. The timing is exact. The frequency is divine. The message is surgical. I didn't send a prophet. I came myself. I didn't hint. I declared. And what I've spoken over you in this sacred space will not return void. So don't rush past this. Don't downplay what you're feeling. That burning in your chest. That tightness in your throat. That rising sense that something holy is wrapping itself around your heart. That's me. That's the echo of heaven ringing through your body like a bell struck with glory. You are being marked by this moment. And no matter what comes after, no matter what storms try to whisper otherwise, you'll carry this divine interruption like a seal upon your soul. Remember it. Return to it. Because this was not just another second. This was the second. The one where I stepped into your atmosphere with no agenda but you. The one where I touched time and said now. The one where eternity became personal. And child, it's only just beginning. Beloved, I've seen the exhaustion that's woven into your days like an invisible thread, tightening, twisting, tugging at your soul even while you smiled. You've been walking around with invisible weights strapped to your chest. Weights no one else noticed. But I noticed. I saw how you kept showing up with your body while your spirit was shrinking. You've carried weariness like a second skin, a heaviness no one saw but I felt. And not just once. Over and over. The pressure didn't come all at once. It came in pieces. Disappointments here. Delays there. Betrayals you brushed off. Hopes deferred that you quietly buried. And prayers that seemed to fade into a sky that never answered back. You didn't fall apart all at once. You faded slowly. And I've watched you try to carry on, layering coping mechanisms over broken pieces, telling yourself it's fine when your soul was anything but. But now, child, I step in, not with questions, not with criticism, but with compassion. I step in not to expose your weakness but to exchange it. The weariness you've been carrying is not yours to bear anymore. I'm not asking for your performance. I'm asking for your surrender. Let me touch what you haven't even dared to name. The ache behind your ambition, the fatigue behind your faithfulness, the burnout that's been building behind the scenes while you kept functioning like a machine. I never made you to carry this weight without me. And now, I am coming to lift it. The burden of always having to be strong. The pressure of holding everyone else together. The quiet shame of your own unmet needs. I'm not ignoring them. I'm addressing them. This isn't surface healing. This is soul surgery. You don't have to explain it. I already know it. I've seen every moment you crawled through the day with your strength spent. I've heard every prayer you couldn't finish because tears interrupted your words. I felt every moment you looked into the mirror and saw more wear than wonder in your eyes. And now, I am pouring out something sacred. Not just peace. Presence. Not just encouragement. Empowerment. Not just comfort. Correction of the course your soul has taken under the load. This isn't temporary relief. This is a divine reversal. I'm pouring oil into cracked places. I'm filling the hollow spaces that sorrow carved. I'm washing off the layers of fatigue that have dulled your sparkle, your voice, your joy. This isn't restoration like you've known it before. This is complete renewal. So let go now. Right here. Right now. I didn't come to ask you to carry it better. I came to carry you. You don't need to get stronger first. You don't need to figure out how to fix it. You don't need to keep apologizing for being tired. You are allowed to be human. You are allowed to feel broken. Because I am God enough to handle both. I came to whisper your name not just to awaken your hope, but to remove what's been suffocating it. What I am about to pour into you will not just relieve the burden. It will reverse its effects. You will breathe again. Sing again. Dream again. Not in survival mode, but in sacred rhythm. Because I've never asked you to carry it alone. And today, you don't have to carry it at all. You stopped long enough to hear me. Now let your obedience ripple beyond this moment. Every time you support this word through super thanks, membership, or the giving link below, you're sowing oil into empty lamps. You're fueling the fire that awakens the weary, lifts the fallen, and releases captives through the power of truth. This isn't just generosity, it's intercession in action. I said in Malachi 3:10, bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, and see if I will not pour out such blessing. And I tell you now, the storehouse is open, and the harvest is ripe. If your heart burns to see others hear what you just heard, then I am the one stirring you to act. Don't hesitate. Release your seed, and I will release the rain. Scroll down now and give as I lead you. Stop trying to figure it all out, my child. Stop dissecting every detail of your delay. Stop replaying conversations in your mind and predicting outcomes I never told you to plan for. You've worn your soul thin trying to mentally manage a movement that is meant to be received, not researched. I did not call you into my presence to give you another puzzle. I called you here to pour out something your mind couldn't comprehend but your spirit has been crying for. This moment is sacred, not logical. It wasn't designed for explanation. It was designed for encounter. You keep trying to reason your way to revelation, but I don't speak through spreadsheets. I speak through stillness. And right now, I'm not asking for analysis. I'm asking for attention. You've been trained by the world to trust what you can measure. You've been conditioned to believe that faith must follow logic. But I am not limited by formulas. I do not follow the lines of your flowchart. I break lines. I redraw boundaries. I defy expectations. I speak in ways that shake the foundations of your mental frameworks. That's why this feels confusing, because I'm not building with bricks you're used to. I'm laying foundation with faith, not formulas. And I need you to understand this deeply. If you keep trying to figure me out, you will miss me. But if you lean in, if you surrender the need to know how, I will show you who, and that is always me. The knowing will come later. Right now, all I ask is this. Listen. Let me speak into the cracks of your control. Let me whisper into the silence you've been trying to fill with planning. I'm not speaking logic. I'm releasing light. And my light does not wait for your understanding to shine. It just does. The cloud didn't wait for Israel to figure out the weather patterns. It just moved. And I am moving now, not with explanations, but with invitations. Will you follow even if you don't fully understand? Will you trust me even if the steps don't make sense? Will you recognize the sound of my spirit over the screaming of your questions? Because, beloved, this is the kind of moment that separates observers from receivers. Those who watch from the edge of logic will always miss the miracle at the center of faith. So hush the noise inside. Turn down the volume of your mind. The sacred is speaking. Heaven is humming in the atmosphere, and your spirit already knows it. I've been drawing you into this stillness so that I could bypass your doubts, and deposit divine direction. Not facts. Fire. Not principles. Presence. You didn't come here to figure something out. You came to find me. And here I am, not with a spreadsheet, but with a scroll. Not with bullet points, but with breath. And this moment isn't meant to be measured. It's meant to be marveled at. Take off your sandals, child. You're on holy ground. And I am speaking in a language your logic can't decode, but your spirit knows by heart. Beloved, I see you looking for signs, glancing at the sky, scanning circumstances, replaying moments, wondering if maybe, just maybe, this is the confirmation you've been waiting for. You've asked for clarity like it was a distant star, hoping it might flash across your ordinary sky. You've prayed for an open door like it was hidden in some future moment, beyond the fog, behind the next breakthrough. But let me tell you something sacred, something startling, something stunning in its simplicity. I am the sign. This, right now, right here, is the door. You keep waiting for me to prove myself through the scenery, but child, I am standing in the scene. I am not outside of your situation, sending coded messages from heaven. I am in the middle of it, knocking on the door of your heart, whispering through the quiet ache, thunderclapping through your restlessness. You keep asking if it's time. I'm answering with my presence. You've watched others walk through what looked like open doors. You've wondered why yours remained shut, why the hallway of your life echoed with silence instead of footsteps. But child, those doors were not meant for you. They were shortcuts dressed as blessings. What I'm preparing for you requires more than just timing. It requires alignment. I didn't want you to walk through something that would have fed your ego but starved your soul. I kept the wrong doors closed so that this moment, this very moment, could open with sacred clarity. Not a hallway of maybe, a hallway of me. When I say I am the door, I don't mean a philosophical idea. I mean right now, in this moment, I am opening access to answers that only my presence can provide. The miracle is not on the other side of the door. The miracle is the door, and I am the one holding it open. Stop asking for signs when the sign is speaking. Stop knocking when I've already opened. You wanted confirmation. Feel the wind of my spirit sweeping through your chest right now. You wanted a word. Hear my voice resonating through this message. You wanted an invitation. I am inviting you. Fully. Personally. Completely. You wanted something dramatic, but I've come divinely. You thought I would move through fireworks, but I'm moving through frequency. This door doesn't look like what you imagined. It's not grand. It's not glamorous. It's sacred. It's spiritual. And it swings on the hinges of your yes. Not the yes of striving. Not the yes of desperation. The yes of surrender. The yes that says, I trust you even when the doorway doesn't look like destiny. Because this is not about where it leads, it's about who's leading. So walk through. Walk forward. Walk in. This is not a test. This is a threshold. I am the sign you've been scanning the sky for. I am the door you dreamed would appear. And I'm not offering you a glimpse, I'm offering you entry. No more standing at the edge of your breakthrough with questions. No more waiting for lightning to strike or stars to align. My child, you don't need another hint. You need hunger. And if you'll follow me through this moment, this door, this word, this now, you'll find what hath been waiting on the other side was never what you expected, but always what I promised. Come in. That pounding in your chest, that flutter in your spirit, that inexplicable stirring that won't let you go. It's not fear. It's not nerves. It's not anxiety masquerading as restlessness. That, my child, is divine urgency. It is the sound of heaven resonating in your bones. It's the vibration of destiny calling your name. It's the rhythm of the Holy Spirit brushing past your ordinary moments with extraordinary movement. I know you've been trained by your trauma to second-guess your senses. I know you've been told that rising intensity must mean something is wrong. But not this time. This is not a red flag. This is a green light. What you feel is not the warning of collapse. It's the confirmation of calling. Don't silence it. Don't suppress it. Don't scroll past it. Lean in. You've been told that urgency means panic. But I am the God who redeems urgency with purpose. I don't stir you to alarm you. I stir you to align you. This stirring isn't anxiety. It's acceleration. What you're sensing is not instability. It's invitation. My spirit is quickening your awareness because the atmosphere is shifting. What was once dormant is now active. What was hidden is now being revealed. You're not imagining this moment. You're feeling the tremble of the eternal pressing into the now. This isn't adrenaline. It's anointing. And the reason it feels unfamiliar is because your spirit has outgrown its old ceiling. You've been expanding silently, and now heaven is activating what I've been building behind the scenes. The urgency isn't a threat. It's a thrust. A launch. A lift-off from limitation into liberation. But here's what I need you to understand. Urgency demands obedience. Not analysis. Not delay. Not debate. Just raw, radical yes. You don't need all the answers to respond. You need only to recognize me. I'm not a feeling. I'm a frequency. And when your heart starts resonating with heaven's sound, that's when you know it's me. This urgency you feel is my signal that the moment has arrived. Not next year. Not next month. Now. The enemy will try to mimic this urgency with fear, try to confuse your discernment with dread. But my urgency carries peace in its fire. It carries clarity in its heat. You don't feel anxious. You feel alive. Because this is what it feels like when purpose wakes up. This is what it feels like when your destiny starts knocking from the inside out. So stop second-guessing what your spirit already knows. Trust the tremble. Follow the flame. Say yes to the quickening. You're not about to break. You're about to break through. You're not being overwhelmed. You're being overtaken by the presence of a God who moves in power, not patterns. This urgency isn't random. It's a response. Heaven has sent a signal, and your spirit has answered. Let the fire rise. Let the pulse push you forward, and let my voice become the compass in this holy current. You're not in danger. You're in divine motion. Go with it. Go with me. You stood in the hallway so long that doubt has started to decorate the walls. You've knocked, waited, prayed, and knocked again. And still the door didn't open. So you asked, have I missed it? Am I disqualified? Did I delay it somehow? But I need you to understand something your weary heart may not have considered. I haven't been denying your breakthrough. I've been protecting it. What you thought was delay was actually divine defense. I've kept certain doors sealed not to punish you, but to preserve what I placed on the other side. Because, child, this breakthrough is not ordinary. It's not a convenient opportunity or a casual blessing. It is a consecrated release. And I will not let what I've prepared for you be touched by hands that don't honor its weight. You see through time, but I see through eternity. I see who you're becoming. I see the ripple effect of your obedience, the legacy hidden in your yes, the generations, that will be touched by what I release into your life. That's why I've been patient. That's why I've been selective. You thought the closed doors were silence, but they were my sovereign shield. You thought you were stuck, but I was actually stationing angels to guard what was sacred. I've delayed some answers because I refused to hand your inheritance to conditions that would spoil it. I've let people pass you by, not because you were overlooked, but because I was eliminating counterfeits, removing those who would mishandle your mantle. You haven't missed the moment, child. I've simply been building it behind a veil of timing you couldn't yet understand. And now that veil is lifting. But before I open the door fully, I needed you to know why I waited. I needed your heart to be ready, not just for the blessing, but for the weight of the blessing. What's coming carries responsibility. It carries glory. It carries the fragrance of heaven and the fingerprints of sacrifice. This breakthrough is not just for you. It's through you. It's going to affect lives, shift atmospheres, uproot generational curses, and activate assignments far beyond your current imagination. That's why I wouldn't let it come while you still thought small. That's why I waited until your dependency on me deepened and your character stretched wide enough to carry what I'm about to place on your life. You prayed for speed, but I gave you substance. You asked for open doors, but I gave you unshakable discernment to recognize which doors were mine. So no, child, I haven't been holding you back. I've been holding you safe. I haven't been withholding. I've been preparing. And now, as the door creaks open and the light begins to spill onto your path, remember this. I didn't delay to deprive you. I delayed to protect the divine. Because what you're about to step into isn't just a breakthrough. It's a birthright. And I guard what I love. I shield what carries my glory. And child, that includes you. The battle didn't begin today. The war for your attention, your hope, your strength, it's been raging behind the veil for a long time. The enemy's strategy wasn't always to destroy you in one blow. Sometimes, his weapon was wearing you down, little by little, whisper by whisper. He sent distractions disguised as duties, discouragement disguised as logic, and exhaustion that felt like apathy. He tried to convince you that all your efforts were wasted, that your prayers had bounced off the ceiling, that your story was stuck. He thought if he couldn't stop your calling, he could dull it. If he couldn't chain you, he'd numb you. If he couldn't defeat you outright, he'd drain you until you lost the will to even care. But child, you're still here. After all the nights you questioned, after all the days you dragged yourself through darkness you didn't have words for, you're still here. That alone is evidence of my power. That alone is victory shouting through the silence. You may not feel victorious, but look again. Your faith is bruised, but still breathing. Your heart is tired, but still open. You're not running at full speed, but you're still moving. And that terrifies hell. Because the one who refuses to give up, even when they don't understand, is a dangerous one. A powerful one. A marked one. The enemy doesn't fear the one with polished prayers. He fears the one who whispers, "Jesus, help me," through tears and keeps showing up anyway. You see weakness. I see warrior. You see delay. I see devotion. You've been underestimating your own endurance, but I've been watching heaven record every step you took when it would have been easier to sit down. Every quiet act of obedience. Every whispered yes. Every time you chose to hope again when hope felt foolish. Those are the moments that have shaken the realm of darkness. Because you didn't quit. You didn't check out. You didn't let the fatigue take your fire. Yes, you were weary. But you worshipped anyway. Yes, you felt forgotten. But you kept believing anyway. That is the sound of unseen victory, the kind that isn't celebrated on stages, but echoed in eternity. So pause, look around. The battle is not over, but the outcome has already shifted. Hell is nervous because you're still listening. Heaven is moving because you're still here. The enemy's last weapon was hoping you'd miss this moment, that you'd be too busy, too broken, too bitter. But you didn't miss it. You're in it. And because you're here, that means I'm here. And where I am, the enemy's grip breaks. Where I am, healing flows. Where I am, chains fall, quietly, steadily, and completely. So lift your eyes, even if they're wet with tears. Victory is not a feeling. Victory is presence, mine and yours, still together, in this very breath. You made it to the moment the enemy hoped you wouldn't. And that means he's lost, and you've already begun to win. Oh, my beloved, how many nights have you laid awake, whispering through the silence, "What do I do now?" You've searched for new strategies, scribbled out new goals, torn up old blueprints, thinking the road must have shifted beneath your feet. You've questioned your instincts, second-guessed the step you once took with confidence. You thought the confusion meant you needed to reinvent everything. But let me pull you into a deeper truth. It wasn't the plan that broke. It was your vision that blurred. I never changed the path. I never changed the purpose. I never rewrote your calling. I only let the fog settle long enough to bring you to the edge of surrender, because I wasn't asking you to design a new map. I was inviting you to see differently. You see, child, your view became tethered to timelines, outcomes, expectations. And when things didn't unfold the way you imagined, disappointment whispered lies. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I failed. Maybe I have to start all over again. But hear me, you didn't miss it. You didn't fail. You don't need to start over. You need to look again. I'm not calling you to reinvent your life. I'm calling you to reframe it. The plan hasn't failed. The pressure just blurred your perception. I've been leading you all along, even through the detours, even through the darkness. Even when it felt like nothing was working, I was still weaving my will through every unseen moment. You thought the setbacks were signs of rejection, but they were signs of refinement. They were not no. They were not yet. They were not missteps. They were divine redirections. You were looking for movement. I was building momentum. You wanted results. I wanted roots. You prayed for open doors. I was strengthening your foundation so when they opened, you wouldn't fall beneath the weight of the answer. I didn't cancel your future. I corrected your vision so you could finally see it the way I do. You've been trying to calculate success through human eyes, but I see legacy, not popularity. I measure purpose, not productivity. And in my perspective, nothing has been wasted. Every tear watered something. Every silence was pregnant with revelation. Every delay was a divine holding pattern keeping you from landing before the runway was ready. So no, child, you don't need a new plan. You need new eyes. Let me wash them with my word. Let me anoint them with fresh oil. Let me help you see again, not from ground level, but from glory's angle. I'm not lost in your circumstances. I'm Lord over them. The plan I wrote over your life still stands. The promises still speak. The calling still pulses. What I began, I will finish. So exhale the panic. Drop the pressure. Come up higher, and let me show you what you've been standing in all along. My plan hasn't changed, but today your perspective will. Beloved, It's time you know the truth that's been stirring beneath the surface of every recent struggle. This isn't just a season change. It's a soul shift. You've been sensing it, haven't you? That ear tug. That quiet discontent. That low hum of something is changing, even if you couldn't name it yet. You've looked around, trying to interpret the external signs. But what I'm doing is deeper. This isn't about circumstances. This is about you. Because who you were, though beautiful, faithful, even fruitful, is not who you'll need to be for what's coming. I'm not just shifting your life. I'm shifting you, your mindset, your rhythm, your identity, your authority. You have grown the old version of yourself. Not because it was wrong, but because it was a seed. And now, I'm calling forth the tree. The identity that once protected you is becoming too tight. The language you used to describe yourself no longer fits. The dreams you once carried feel too small now. That's not failure. That's formation. I am stretching your capacity, expanding your spiritual lungs, refining your awareness of who you are in me. Because where we're going next, you can't take false humility. You can't carry wounded worth. You can't bring people-pleasing or comparison or the survival mode version of faith. What's ahead demands boldness wrapped in brokenness, courage covered in communion, and a heart that says, if it's you, Lord, I'll walk on water even if I don't know how. I'm not just shifting your direction. I'm refining your identity. You are more than what happened to you. More than the roles you played. More than the limitations others assigned you. I'm calling the real you to the surface. The one who was formed in fire, raised in my presence, marked by destiny. You will not be recognized by some in this next chapter. And that's okay. Because the shift I'm doing in you isn't for their applause. It's for my assignment. I'm not making a better version of the old you. I'm calling forth a new you. The one that's been hidden in obedience, shaped in the shadows, and prepared for a moment such as this. The shift may feel strange, but that's only because your soul is stepping into space it has never occupied before. So embrace it. Don't resist it. The discomfort is proof of transformation. You are not unraveling. You are emerging. The shedding may be painful, but the skin you're leaving behind was only ever meant for a past season. What I'm doing now is permanent. This isn't about image. It's about identity. This isn't about external change. It's about eternal calling. You are being shifted, not just for survival, but for stewardship. Not just for breakthrough, but for becoming. You won't just cross into a new season. You'll do so with new eyes, new weight, new wind. And when you arrive, you won't have to force doors to open. They'll recognize you. Because the shift wasn't about what you'd do. It was about who you've become. I see it, child. I see the scattered pieces, the shattered plans, the dreams that used to feel like anchors now feeling like ashes. You've been whispering in the dark, why is everything falling apart? But here's what I need you to understand with every fiber of your being. You're not being broken down, you're being built up. But looks like destruction is actually divine deconstruction. I'm not tearing you apart. I'm tearing down what couldn't carry you where we're going. The shaking wasn't to scare you. It was to separate you from what would have strangled your destiny if I had let it stay. You cried out for strength, and I began pulling up foundations that were never meant to hold the weight of what I've placed inside you. This isn't punishment, it's precision. I have not been careless with your life. I've been careful, intentional, meticulous. Because I saw what you couldn't. I saw how comfort had turned into a cage, how familiarity became a false refuge, how structures that once helped you started hindering you. And so, in my mercy, I let what was fragile fall, not to hurt you, but to heal you. I let certain relationships break. I let the door close. I let the rug be pulled not because I wanted to see you suffer, but because I couldn't allow you to build a future on foundations that were already cracked. What fell wasn't secure to begin with. And now, as the dust clears, I'm not asking you to mourn what left. I'm asking you to notice what's left behind, because that is where we start again. I know it's hard. I know it feels like you're staring at ruins with no strength to rebuild. But you won't be rebuilding alone. This time, I'm the builder. This time, you won't need to rely on your performance or your plans. This time, it will be me laying the bricks, brick by brick, glory by glory, promise by promise. What I'm constructing now isn't a return to what you lost. It's a resurrection of what you didn't even know was possible. And here's the truth most never realize. Sometimes I have to let the old version of your life collapse so that the real structure, the one I've had in mind from the beginning, can finally rise without limitation. This rebuild will be sacred. This foundation will be eternal. And this variant of you that's emerging, this one is untouchable. Not because it's invincible, but because it's anchored in me. So lift your eyes, even through the tears. Look again at the rubble. It's not the end. It's the beginning. Don't call it broken. Call it becoming. Don't name it loss. Name it launch you. Because I'm taking what looked like a mess and revealing the miracle hidden inside it. What's falling apart was never the point. What's rising up in its place, that's the move of God. This isn't your breaking. This is your birthing. And when you look back, you will see it clearly. I never abandoned you in the falling. I was simply clearing space for a future too glorious to fit inside the old shell. You're not crumbling. You're being constructed into the vessel I've always intended you to be. I've been watching, not just your hands but your heart. Not just your faith, but your fight. The one no one else can see. The one that happens in the dark, when no one's cheering, when no one's asking how you're really doing. I heard the silent screams behind the smiles. The tug-of-war between hope and heaviness. The warfare in your mind that's left you questioning your own worth. This inner war hasn't just wearied you, it's threatened to rewrite your identity. And that's why I'm stepping in, not with a whisper this time, but with warfare in my voice. This is not just encouragement. This is a divine interruption. I am declaring, enough is enough. The enemy thought if he could torment you quietly, he could keep you isolated. But I've seen every thought that tried to convince you you're too much or not enough. I've seen every accusation that disguised itself as your own inner voice. And now I come not to ask for permission, but to take authority. I'm shutting down every lie that's taken up residence in your spirit. The ones that told you you're behind. The ones that said you're not worthy of love. The ones that whispered, it's too late for you. Lies, all of them, burned by the fire of my truth. My voice is louder. My truth is stronger. And today, I'm not just speaking over your life. I'm speaking into your war. This isn't just comfort. It's conquest. I'm reclaiming the ground the enemy tried to steal in the shadows. I'm redeeming every corner of your mind where anxiety set up camp. You are not weak. You've been in a battle bigger than you realize. And the very fact that you're still here proves that you're not losing. You're learning. You're awakening. You're being trained, not tortured. I haven't abandoned you in the middle of your questions. I've been whispering truth in the middle of the noise. And now, as the volume of heaven increases, you will begin to feel the shift. What once screamed will now submit. What once haunted you will now be healed by the presence of the one who knows you inside and out. So breathe again. Not because the war is over, but because I've entered it with you. My presence doesn't just comfort, it conquers. You will no longer have to fake peace. You will carry it. You will no longer have to explain your battle to people who never understood it. I understood it, and I fought for you when no one else even knew you were bleeding. This is your turning point. From internal war to internal witness. From mental chaos to supernatural clarity. I am rewriting the inner narrative. Not with self-help, but with spirit help. You're not crazy. You're called. You're not drowning. You're being delivered. And the war you thought would take you out has only revealed the warrior I've placed within. The storm ends not because of your strength, but because of mine. And I say now, peace. Be still. You've tiptoed around your own uncertainty, haven't you? You've tried to silence your questions, tried to hide the hesitation behind dutiful prayers and brave faces. You've wondered if your doubt disqualifies you, if maybe your questions offend me, if maybe I've turned away in disappointment because you couldn't pretend to be certain anymore. But child, let me say this with tenderness and thunder. I am not afraid of your doubt. I'm not unsettled by your uncertainty. I'm not standing at a distance, arms crossed, waiting for you to figure it out. No, I'm stepping closer. Because your doubt isn't a danger to me. It's an invitation for me to reveal myself in a deeper, more personal way. You see, I've never asked you to fake it with me. I've never asked for flawless faith. I've asked for realness. And when you come to me with your cracked belief, your trembling hands, your unspoken fears, I don't turn you away. I draw near. I invite your doubt into the light because it's in the light that truth breathes and lies die. Doubt in the darkness becomes a prison, but doubt in the light becomes a doorway. Even my greatest servants question. Even my most faithful children had moments of wrestling. And what did I do? I met them there. I revealed myself in ways they'd never known before. So why would I be any different with you? Your doubt is not disobedience. It's evidence that you're still seeking, that your heart still longs for clarity, that your soul refuses to settle for shallow answers. And I honor that. I designed you to ask, to seek, to knock. I built into you the hunger for understanding, not so you'd be punished when you questioned, but so you'd keep pressing until your faith was rooted, not just recited. And yes, I know what religion told you, that questioned equal weakness. But I never said that. I never turned away the ones who came to me with trembling words. I met Thomas in his unbelief. I met Elijah in his despair. I met Moses in his protest. And I will meet you in your wrestling too. So stop shaming yourself for what you feel. I'd rather have your honest confusion than your rehearsed performance. Bring me your doubt. Place it before me like broken bread. Let me feed you truth in the very places your fear said were off limits. Because once I dodge your questions, they become the foundation for unshakable trust. I'm not here to silence you. I'm here to speak into you. And what I speak will not only quiet your fear, it will resurrect your faith in a way that is raw, real, and resilient. You don't need to hide anymore. I don't bless pretending. I bless proximity. And right now, that closeness is all I'm asking for. Bring me the doubt. Let me speak. Let me show you that even your uncertainty is safe in my hands. You've been faithful in the hidden places. Now join me in shining light into someone else's darkness. What you give doesn't just support a message, it breaks chains. When you sow into this word, through super thanks, membership, or the giving link, you're not funding content, you're fueling kingdom movement. Just as I said in Isaiah 58:10, if you spend yourselves on behalf of the hungry, your light will rise in the darkness. I speak this to you now. Every seed you give multiplies like manna in dry places, turning digital platforms into altars of glory. Don't wait. Partner with me in reaching hearts that are hanging by a thread. Click below and give. I am in this. You've tried to disown parts of your story, parts you thought made you unusable. You've looked at the failures, the flaws, the dark chapters and whispered, surely this cancels the call. Surely God can't use this. But oh, how wrong that whisper is. That lie was born in the pit of shame, not in the presence of me. Because I don't throw away broken stories, I anoint them. I don't bypass the messy places, I inhabit them. Child, the very thing you thought disqualified you, it's the very thing I'm about to pour my glory through. Not in spite of it, but because of it. I have always chosen vessels that bled. I have always spoken through those the world discounted. The ones who stuttered, the ones who ran, the ones who doubted, the ones who failed publicly. I chose them, not because they were clean, but because they were yielded. I don't look for perfect records. I look for open hearts. And your scars, they're not a barrier. They're a bridge. I will walk across them into the lives of others who think they've fallen too far. I will turn what was once your shame into a sacred testimony, not a monument to your sin, but a monument to my mercy. You've been trying to hide the parts of your life that still ache, but I'm not asking you to hide them. I'm asking you to hand them to me, not so I can erase them, but so I can redeem them. You see loss, I see oil. You see failure, I see fuel for fire. You see disqualification, I see divine distinction. Because I only need one thing to release my glory, a heart that says yes. And you, my child, are still saying yes, even with the limp, even with the questions, even with the memories that still sting. And that yes, that raw, trembling, real yes, is the sound of revival in my ears. So stop disqualifying yourself from what I've already called you into. You're not the mistake. You're the miracle. You're not the exception to grace. You're the evidence of it. And what I'm about to do through you won't make sense to those who only see your past. But I don't anoint based on public opinion. I anoint based on my purpose. And I say this to you with the fire of truth in my voice. Nothing you've walked through is wasted. The glory is coming through the wound. The power is rising from the place you almost buried. You are not disqualified. You are divinely set apart. And the glory that's coming will prove it. I saw you when no one else did. I saw you keep walking when it felt like every step was swallowed by silence. I saw you serve when there was no applause. I saw you give when no one returned the gesture. I saw the seeds you planted in soil that looked barren. The prayers you whispered when the heavens felt closed. The sacrifices you made when your own heart was breaking. You didn't do it for show, you did it out of love. You obeyed when it didn't make sense. You stayed faithful when it cost you your comfort, your time, your tears. And child, I did not overlook it. What was done in secret, I am now preparing to reward in the open. You see, I measure differently. The world sees numbers, I see motives. The world looks at impact, I look at integrity. And you have passed tests that no one knew you were taking. You didn't seek recognition, but you are about to receive recompense. Not because you chased after it, but because I am a father who loves to honor what was done in secret places. You built altars in silence. Now I will establish platforms in the open, not for your fame, but for my glory through your life. Because I trust you. I trust the heart that kept coming back even when it felt invisible. I trust the hands that kept building when there was no blueprint. You were never hidden from me. You were being hidden for me, for such a time as this. And now the time has come. I am about to bring forth visible fruit from the hidden faithfulness you thought had been forgotten. A quiet yes in the dark. It echoed in heaven. Those prayers you thought evaporated, they were stored in my chambers like precious perfume. I collect every moment of obedience, and I multiply it. What felt small to you is massive in my kingdom. And so now I'm about to open the floodgates, not just of blessing, but of recognition from me. You spent so long in the shadows, you almost forgot what light feels like. But here it comes. A season where what was internal becomes external, where what was unseen becomes undeniable. So prepare your heart, not for fame, but for fulfillment. Not for validation, but for vindication. I'm not blessing you because of performance. I'm blessing you because you were faithful in the quiet. You were true when no one was looking. And now, because you trusted me with your silence, I will trust you with my spotlight. This is not about being known. This is about me being known through you. And I'm about to show everyone that what you did in the dark was never wasted. It was weaving glory. And now, it's time to shine. You've spent so long just trying to make it, trying to hold things together, trying to make the bills work, the relationships work, your emotions behave, your hopes stay afloat. I know, child. I've seen how survival became your default, how you stopped asking for more, not because you stopped believing in me, but because you started believing less about you. You told yourself not to dream too big, not to expect too much, not to hope for things that seemed out of reach. But beloved, I never asked you to shrink your soul to fit your circumstance. I didn't create you to survive. I created you to thrive in my overflow. Let me say this as clearly as eternity can speak to earth. There is more ahead. More joy, more impact, more peace, more anointing, more provision, more purpose. You are not nearing the end. You are nearing the expansion. What I've prepared for you isn't just enough. It's more than enough. Because I'm a God of abundance, not scarcity. Of overflow, not just daily bread. But before I can release the more, I have to dismantle the lie that you're only worthy of the minimum. That lie came from wounds, from lack, from a history that taught you to settle. But today, I'm breaking that ceiling. You are worthy of more, not because of what you've done, but because of who I am in you. I'm calling you out of survival mode, out of barely making it faith, out of spiritual starvation and emotional minimalism. I'm calling you into a land that flows, not drips, with milk and honey. A land where promises aren't postponed, but fulfilled. You've wandered through wilderness long enough. Now it's time to step into inheritance. You won't have to fight for crumbs anymore. You won't have to convince yourself to be content with scraps. The table I've prepared is full, and there's a seat with your name on it. This isn't fantasy. It's fulfillment. And it's coming sooner than you think. So dream again. Believe big again. Ask for what scares you. Pray like it's already yours. Because this is the season where I shatter the smallness off your spirit. You won't just make it through. You'll multiply. You won't just finish, you'll flourish. You won't just survive. You'll soar. The overflow is not a bonus. It's your birthright in me. So stop rehearsing lack. Stop bracing for disappointment. Lift your eyes and prepare for the wave that's coming. It's not hype. It's harvest. And the fields are ready. So now, so are you. You've wondered, haven't you, if this is where the story plateaus? If this is where the excitement dims and life becomes a cycle of maintenance, not movement? You felt the weight of fatigue, the haunting silence between answered prayers, the sense that what once burned like fire now flickers like a dim candle. You've asked quietly in the corners of your soul, "Is this it, Lord?" But hear me now, my beloved. No, this is not it. You are standing in the middle of the process, not the end. And I did not bring you through storm, trial, healing, and breakthrough to abandon you in the hallway of almost. I'm not a halfway God. I'm not a good start God. I'm a finishing God. And what I started in you will not only continue, it will culminate in glory. You may feel stuck, but I am not stagnant. You may not see movement, but I am still writing. My pen does not run dry midway through your story. I don't scribble out promises or change my mind because of what circumstances scream. What I said over your life is still active, still alive, still unfolding, even in the chapters that feel silent. Even when it seems like others have passed you. Even when your pace has slowed. My plan hasn't shifted. My hand hasn't lifted. What you thought was a stopping point was actually a sacred pause, a moment for me to realign your vision, restore your strength, and prepare you for the weight of what comes next. You remember when you first believed, when fire rushed through your bones and destiny sang louder than doubt. That wasn't a phase. That was foundation. I placed eternity in your heart not as decoration, but as direction. That pull you feel, that ache that won't let you go. It's me, calling you deeper, reminding you there's more. Not just for others, for you. You are not the supporting role in someone else's story. You are not a placeholder in my kingdom. You are chosen, formed, anointed, and commissioned. And if you could see what I see waiting on the other side of your obedience, you would run with fire in your feet. I've only just begun. So don't you dare settle here. Don't you dare call this the ending when I've written this chapter as preparation. I'm stirring the embers again, not because you've done something wrong, but because it's time to move forward. I'm the author, and I write with eternity in mind. I finish every sentence I start. I fulfill every promise I speak. And this story, your story, is far from over. Lift your eyes. The next page is already turning, and my fingerprint is all over it. There's been a battle over your identity. An invisible war waged not just over your destiny, but over your belonging. The enemy has tried to convince you that your failures define you, that your past disqualifies you, that the voices of others, those who misunderstood, rejected, or overlooked you, carry more weight than my voice. But I speak now with authority that cannot be contested. You are mine. I marked you before your first breath. I spoke your name before the womb knew your frame. I placed my hand upon your life before time began, and there is nothing that can reverse that. No mistake, no delay, no opinion, no voice, not even your own. You've walked through wombs that made you feel invisible. You've tried to explain yourself to people who never had the capacity to understand your calling. You've apologized for your passion, minimized your mantle, tried to blend in just to survive the rejection. But I didn't call you to fit in. I called you to stand out. You carry something sacred, something holy, something not even you fully comprehend yet. And that's why it's been so fiercely attacked. The enemy doesn't fight what he doesn't fear. And he fears you, not because of who you are without me, but because of who you become when you believe what I've spoken over you. Let me make this clear. What I've anointed, no man can unanoint. What I've called, no voice can cancel. You are not just called to endure, you are called to carry my presence, to shift atmospheres, to walk into rooms and bring heaven with you. That's why your presence has been misunderstood. That's why you've been accused of being too much. Because the weight of what you carry convicts the complacent. But child, you don't need to shrink to make others comfortable. You need to stand in what I've spoken. Because I've marked you. And my mark is irrevocable. I didn't place my hand on you as a symbolic gesture. I placed it as a seal. And that seal means you are protected, positioned, and propelled by heaven itself. So silence the voice that says you're not enough. Rebuke the lie that says it's too late. Cast down every whisper that says you've lost your chance. My mark isn't temporary. My hand doesn't waver. And as long as it rests on you, no weapon formed against you can prosper. You are mine. Not just in name, but in purpose, in destiny, in authority. And the days ahead will prove it. Watch as I open what no man can shut. Watch as I elevate what others tried to bury. Watch as I use everything, even the pain, to prove that my hand has never left you. Look at you. Still here. Still breathing. Still carrying hope, even if it's faint, even if it's trembling. Don't you see the miracle in that? The storm was not small. The trial was not imaginary. The opposition you faced came with a real agenda, to silence you, to cripple you, to bury you beneath the weight of it all. But child, you're still standing. You made it through things others would have folded under. You didn't just survive. You endured when endurance felt impossible. That wasn't weakness. That was warriorhood. That wasn't luck. That was divine preservation. What tried to destroy you has actually become the stage for your deliverance. But now hear me. You were never meant to live in survival mode. You were never designed to stay in the trauma of yesterday. I didn't carry you through the valley so you could pitch a tent in the wilderness. I carried you through so I could crown you on the other side. The same ground that was once your battleground is about to become your birthing ground. And what's coming next will resemble what you came out of. You will not keep fighting the same battles. You will not keep managing the same emotional weights. You will not keep revisiting the past trying to fix it with the tools of today. I am calling you into something new. Something sacred. Something that requires a new language. The language of thriving. Thriving doesn't mean pretending the pain didn't happen. Thriving means refusing to let it define you. Thriving is rooted in the knowledge that the one who brought you through is now the one building something through you. It means no longer seeing yourself as a victim, but as a vessel. It means looking at the ruins and saying, "This will rise." It means waking up with vision, not just survival instincts. I'm not asking you to fight harder. I'm asking you to trust deeper. Because I'm shifting you into a rhythm of resurrection. I'm pulling you out of scarcity and into supernatural supply. You will no longer be a collector of breakdowns, you'll be a carrier of breakthrough. This shift won't be comfortable, but it will be glorious. Your mindset will have to change. Your posture will have to rise. But I will equip you. I will surround you. I will remind you daily. You did come this far to crawl. You came this far to conquer. You've survived what was meant to take you out. Now watch me transform that survival into a launchpad. You will not just walk into destiny, you will run. You will not just hope for better, you will live in the overflow of it. This isn't theory. This is my promise. And child, it's already beginning. I've watched you carry what was too heavy for far too long. Expectations you were never meant to meet. Responsibilities I never placed on your shoulders. Worries that wrapped around your soul like chains. You've been bending under the weight, quietly, faithfully, hoping no one would notice the cracks. But I noticed. I saw when you started trading rest for responsibility. When you believed you had to hold everything together so nothing would fall apart. When you assumed that to be strong was to be silent. And now I speak to you, not with rebuke, but with relief. I am lifting it off of you. I never asked you to be everything to everyone. I never told you to bear burdens that belonged at my feet. Somewhere along the way, you started believing that being loved meant being overextended, that being faithful meant being constantly drained. But child, that is not the life I called you to. That's not my yoke. That's not my voice. My yoke is easy. My burden is light. And where I am, there is rest for your soul. I'm not applauding your exhaustion. I'm calling you to exchange it. Bring me the weights. Bring me the mental load, the emotional heaviness, the spiritual fatigue. I will parry it. Do you remember who you were before the burnout? Before the pressure? That version of you is not gone. They are simply buried under burdens. And now, I'm reaching down and raising them back to life. You will laugh again without guilt. You will rest without shame. You will move forward without dragging the weight of everything that went wrong. I'm restoring vitality. Not just energy in your body, but renewed joy in your spirit. And it starts now. As you begin to release what was never yours to carry, you will feel strength return, not like a lightning bolt, but like living water, steady, deep, enough. So breathe, child. Let go. Let me be the one who sustains you. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to be the glue anymore. You are not called to carry everything. You are called to carry my presence. And when that becomes your only weight, everything changes. Your clarity will return. Your creativity will bloom. Your purpose will flow again. Because the heaviness is not holy, but healing is. And I say this to you now, with all the love in my heart, it's time to lay it down. I'm not just lifting the burden, I'm restoring the you that was buried beneath it. You cried when the door closed. You didn't understand why it felt like everything you prayed for slipped through your fingers. You gave your best. You waited with hope. You walked in faith. And still, what you believed was for you didn't happen. The opportunity was missed. The person walked away. The outcome flipped. And in the ache of that silence, the enemy tried to whisper his oldest lie. God is withholding from you. But I speak now with fire in my breath and clarity in my voice. I did not deny you. I shielded you. What felt like rejection was actually divine intervention. You saw a detour. I saw a trap. You saw delay. I saw the destruction that would have followed if I had given you what you begged for before its time. Beloved, I don't say no to punish you. I say it to preserve you. I don't close doors to be cruel. I close them when what's on the other side would wound you deeper than you're ready to carry. Some of the things you've been mourning, I've been thanking myself for blocking. Because I love you too much to let popularity outrun your preparation. I love you too much to let relationships define you that would have dismantled you. I love you too much to bless the thing that would have buried your calling beneath the weight of compromise. But here is the beauty of it all. Nothing I protect you from will be greater than what I provide for you. You haven't missed anything. You're not behind. You're not disqualified. You're divinely routed. And the road I'm leading you on now, though quieter, more narrow, is laced with supernatural alignment. The opportunities that passed you were never the pinnacle. They were stepping stones, not destinations. What I'm preparing you for is so much greater, so much truer to who you are in me, that one day you will look back and thank me for every door I didn't open. What felt like abandonment will be remembered as mercy. So dry your tears, my child. It wasn't rejection, it was redirection. I never turned my back on you. I turned your path toward something greater. And even now, I'm releasing new instructions, new opportunities, and new divine connections that carry my fingerprint all over them. Watch what happens when my timing and your readiness collide. What once wounded you will become the witness of my goodness. You didn't lose your chance. You gained my protection. And in the days to come, you'll see just how carefully I've been guarding your promise, not keeping it from you, but keeping it for you. I know it feels like the promise is still far away, like you've been walking in circles, praying without answers, obeying without visible reward. It's felt like you're in between worlds, the one you left behind and the one you're still waiting to step into. But child, listen, you are closer than you realize. This tension you feel, this restlessness, this spiritual stretching, this emotional intensity, it's not a sign of failure. It's a sign of birth. You're not losing your way. You're about to see the very thing you've carried in faith come into full view. You've planted. You've pressed. You've believed through silence, through delay, through disappointment. And for a while, it seemed like nothing was moving. But what you couldn't see was the underground growth, the quiet shift, the roots going deep while you were weeping in the night. I am building something beneath the surface, something sturdy, something sacred. Because promises aren't built for speed. They're built for sustainability. And now, like a seed breaking through the soil, the fulfillment is about to emerge. Suddenly, swiftly, in a way that reminds you, I never forgot a single detail. You will feel it before you see it, that holy stirring in your spirit, that sense that something is about to shift. It's me, confirming what I already placed inside you. It's not your imagination. It's not false hope. It's the signal that what you've believed for in faith is about to materialize. And when it does, it will come with clarity. You won't have to force the door open. You won't have to convince anyone to believe in you. The door will recognize your name. The room will be ready for your anointing. The stage will fit the message you've carried in secret. I don't just deliver promises. I deliver them in ways that match your obedience. So hold your head high. Don't let the final stretch convince you it's still miles away. You're not circling. You're ascending. The warfare increased because the enemy knew you were nearing the threshold. But I've already silenced his voice. And now it's time for my word to manifest. It's time for the invisible to become visible. The prophetic to become personal. The promise to become present. You are not as far as it feels. You are right on the edge. And all of heaven is leaning in, holding its breath, ready to shout as your faith becomes sight. You stop. You listen. You let everything else pause for this divine moment. That alone was a miracle. In a world that spins so fast, you dared to still your soul. In the noise of timelines and deadlines, you gave me your undivided attention. That wasn't a small act, it was a supernatural invitation. And now, child, watch what happens next. You've created space for me, not just in your schedule, but in your spirit. You've opened the gate, and now my glory will enter in. This was never just about hearing me. It was about hosting me. Your stillness wasn't wasted, it was warfare. Every time you said yes to my voice over your distractions, you broke strongholds. Every moment you leaned into what I was saying rather than what the world was shouting, you shifted atmospheres. And now, As you walk forward from this place, the residue of my presence will go with you. You won't just carry revelation, you'll carry demonstration. What was once only believed will now be seen. You obeyed in the unseen. And now I'm releasing uncontainable power in your life. Not power for spectacle, but power for transformation. Power that breaks chains. Power that heals bodies. Power that unlocks destiny, not just for you, but for everyone you touch. You stopped long enough to hear me, and now I will move through you. Conversations will change because you're in the room. Environments will shift because you bring my atmosphere with you. You're not just a believer, you're a carrier. You're not just a worshiper, you're anointed. And the difference will be undeniable. So get ready. Not for more pressure, but for more presence. The miracles won't come by striving, but by resting in what you've already received. You don't need to try harder. You just need to stay yielded. Stay attuned. Keep your ear pressed to my chest. I'm leading you moment by moment, not just into blessing, but into beholding. Because what I do next won't just happen around you. It will happen through you. And the world will know. This one has been with God. Now that you stopped and responded, don't leave the encounter unfinished. Complete your obedience by becoming a vessel through which others will hear this same call. I have lit a fire in you. Will you now carry that flame to others? When you support this word through super thanks, membership, or the giving link, you're not just giving, you're building altars around the world. I declared in 2 Corinthians 9:8, I will make all grace abound to you, so that in all things and at all times you will abound in every good work. This is one of those moments. I will bless what you release. I will multiply it and surround your house with favor. Scroll now, so boldly, and watch me move on your behalf. Now that you've stopped long enough to hear me, don't let this moment pass you by. Declare it now in the comments. God, I've stopped, and I'm ready. Let heaven and hell know that you've heard my voice, and you're aligned with my movement. This isn't just a comment, it's a covenant. When you put it in writing, you seal it in faith. I am watching. I am responding. And as you speak it out, watch how quickly I step in. Now stay right here. Don't rush away from what you just declare. I don't only dwell in the shout of surrender, I also move in the silence that follows. You've spoken your yes. Now let your soul feel it. I want to teach you how to recognize me, not just in the thunder of revelation, but in the quiet rhythm of your own breathing. So pause with me. The miracle doesn't leave when the noise fades, that deepens in the stillness. Just for a moment, whatever you are doing, stop. Put down the phone, pause the list running through your mind, and just breathe. Do you feel that? The tightness in your chest, the frantic pace of your own heart. You have been running a race, my beloved, but it is a race I did not set for you. You are wearying your soul, chasing prizes that will glitter for a moment before they turn to dust in your hands. You run for the approval of people who do not know your heart. You strive for a security that this world can never truly offer. You are chasing a version of success that leaves your spirit empty and exhausted, wondering why the finish line always seems to move further away. The deep, abiding peace you so desperately seek is not waiting for you at the end of that frantic sprint. It is not a reward for your accomplishment or a medal for your exhaustion. It is here, right now, in this moment of stillness, in my presence. Your life has become a storm of activity, a constant noise of notifications, obligations, and worries. This frantic energy has become so loud that you can no longer hear the gentle guidance of my spirit. You mistake this exhaustion for importance, this busyness for worth. But listen to me, my precious child. I am not impressed by how tired you are. I am not glorified by your burnout. I am deeply, profoundly concerned for the state of your heart. I see the anxiety that wakes you in the middle of the night, the fear of falling behind that drives your every decision. I feel the knot in your stomach when you think about the future. That isn't from me. You hold the illusion of control so tightly in your hands, believing that if you just work harder, plan better, and strive more, you can keep everything from falling apart. What that weight is crushing you. Let go. Let go of the illusion. Surrender it to me, the one who holds the universe in his hands and calls the stars by name. Your world will not shatter if you pause. In fact, it is in this very pause that your world can finally become whole. Come, be still with me. Let the noise of the world fade into the background. Let the demands and the deadlines and the desperate need to prove yourself fall away. In the stillness, you will not find emptiness, you will find me. In the quiet, you will rediscover the unshakable truth of who I am, and more importantly, who you are. Here, in the silence, you will hear it again, the foundational truth of your existence. I am your God, and you are my beloved child. And that, my precious one, has always been, and will always be, enough. Feel that weight on your shoulders, my child. I am not talking about the physical demands of your day. I am speaking of the invisible burdens that bend your spirit and slow your step. You carry them so faithfully, as if they are your sacred duty, but I never asked you to. The weight of yesterday's failures is a heavy stone, and I see you trying to pick it up again every single morning. You replay that conversation in your mind, the one where you said the wrong thing. You see the look of disappointment on someone's face, and you carry it with you into your day. You remember the mistake, the misstep, the moment of weakness, and you allow it to define you. But listen to me. That stone is one I have already rolled away from the tomb of your past. When you came to me seeking forgiveness, my son's sacrifice was sufficient. The debt was paid. The failure was redeemed. To pick that stone back up is to say that his suffering was not enough for you. Why do you do this to yourself? That guilt you feel is a chain you are forging yourself, long after I have broken the original locks. Hand me that stone. Leave it at the foot of the cross and walk away free. Then there is the crushing weight of tomorrow. Oh, how you labor under the anxieties of a day I have not yet given you. Your mind races with what ifs. What if the report is not good? What if the money runs out? What if my health fails? What if my family suffers? You are building mountains out of moments that have not yet occurred, creating storms in a sky that is, for now, clear. This worry, my beloved, is a conversation you are having with your fears instead of with me. It changes nothing about tomorrow, but it steals all the peace from your today. You think by worrying you are being responsible, but you are simply practicing disbelief. You are acting as if I am not aware of your needs, as if I am not in control, as if I have not promised to provide for you. Trust me with your tomorrow. I am already there, preparing the way. Your only responsibility is to walk with me today. And what of the expectations of others? This is perhaps the heaviest burden of all. You have loaded upon your back a yoke I never placed on your shoulders. The desire to please everyone, the fear of being misunderstood, the constant pressure to perform, to measure up, to fit in. You are suffocating under a pile of opinions that are as fickle as the wind. I called you to be you, the person I uniquely and wonderfully made. I did not call you to be a reflection of someone else's desires for your life. My yoke, the one I offer you, is easy. My burden is light. All I ask is that you love me and love others. That is the only expectation that matters. Release the need to prove your worth to the world. Your worth was sealed in the moment I breathed life into you. It is not up for debate and cannot be earned by applause. Give me these burdens, my precious one. I see you struggling, your knees buckling under the strain. I am not standing by, watching to see if you are strong enough. I am standing here with my arms outstretched, asking you to let me carry them for you. There is a tempest inside of you. I can feel it. The winds of doubt are howling. The relentless waves of fear are battering your spirit, and you feel as though your little boat is about to be swamped. You're frantically trying to control it all, shouting at the wind, wrestling with the sails, and all the while, you feel yourself sinking. You have forgotten, my child, that I am with you in the boat. I have not been swept overboard. I am not asleep. I am here, watching you, waiting for you to turn your eyes from the storm and fix them on me. The chaos you feel is not from the outside world. It is a reflection of the turmoil within your own soul. You are seeking answers from the noise, but clarity will only ever come when the waters are calm. You cannot hear my voice above the screaming of your own panic. The storm is fueled by your thoughts. Thoughts of inadequacy whisper that you are not enough. Thoughts of fear paint vivid pictures of future disasters. Thoughts of confusion tell you that you are lost and have no direction. These are not my thoughts. I am the Prince of Peace, and my very nature is tranquility. And right now, into the heart of your personal storm, I speak the same words I spoke over the Galilean Sea. Peace, be still. Do you hear it? Let that command resonate deeper than the fear. Peace, be still. I am not shouting it. I am breathing it into the very core of your being. That anxiety that makes your heart race, that dread that settles in your stomach, I command it now to be still. The tempest in your heart is doing more than just making you uncomfortable. It is preventing you from seeing the path I have laid before you. You are so focused on the waves crashing over the bow that you cannot see the lighthouse shining in the distance. Your spiritual unrest is a symptom, a clear sign that your soul has become disconnected from its true source of tranquility, me. So, I want you to do something very simple, right now. Breathe. Stop everything else and just breathe. Inhale deeply, and as you do, I want you to consciously inhale my presence. Breathe me in. Breathe in my peace, my strength, my unwavering love for you. Hold it for a moment. Feel it fill the empty, anxious places within you. Now exhale. And as you exhale, I want you to release the chaos. Breathe out the doubt. Breathe out the worry. Breathe out the confusion and the frantic energy that has unsettled you for so long. Do it again. Inhale my calm. Exhale the storm. This is not just a breathing exercise, my child. This is an act of spiritual exchange. It is you, consciously choosing to let go of the turmoil and take hold of the peace that I freely offer. The storm will not cease because you fight it harder. It will cease when you turn to me and trust that I am the master of the winds and the waves, both in the world and within your soul. The world is shouting for your attention. From the moment you wake until the moment you fall into an exhausted sleep, it screams at you. It screams through your screens, with promises of fleeting happiness if you just buy this product, achieve this status, or look this way. It screams through the news, with a constant barrage of fear, evasion, and disaster. It screams through the people around you, their opinions, their gossip, their demands. All of these voices are clamoring for a piece of you, offering advice and direction. But listen to me, my child. Only my voice speaks eternal truth to the depths of your being. The world offers temporary validation. I offer everlasting worth. The world offers fleeting pleasure. I offer enduring joy. The world offers advice based on shifting trends. I offer wisdom that is timeless and true. The problem is, you have filled your life with so much noise that there is no space left for me to speak. You have become uncomfortable with silence. The moment there is a quiet pause in your day, you reach for your phone, turn on the television, or fill the space with your own anxious thoughts. You have forgotten that my guidance is not in the earthquake, the wind, or the fire. It is not in the dramatic, loud, and spectacular moments. My most profound, life-altering guidance comes in the still, small voice you have been too busy and too distracted to hear. I am whispering the answers you are screaming for, but you cannot hear a whisper in a hurricane of noise. You are starving your spirit while you are force-feeding your senses. The constant input from the world is numbing your soul, making you less sensitive to the gentle nudges and quiet leading of my spirit. I am calling you today to an act of holy rebellion. Turn off the distractions. I want you to intentionally create moments of silence in your day. It might feel strange at first, even frightening. But I promise you, in that silence, you will find something more satisfying than any entertainment, more affirming than any social media like, and more peaceful than any distraction. Tune your heart to the frequency of heaven. This means being deliberate. It means choosing to open my word before you open your email. It means spending 5 minutes in quiet conversation with me before you turn on the news. It means going for a walk and listening to the sounds of my creation instead of another podcast. What I have to say to you in the silence is infinitely more important than anything the world is screaming at you. In the quiet, I will remind you of who you are. I will give you direction for your next step. I will soothe your anxious heart. I will give you a perspective that lifts you above the chaos. Do not be afraid of the silence, my beloved. It is where I am waiting to meet with you. I see you, my child. I see you in the quiet moments when no one else is looking, and your mind drifts backward. You are replaying scenes of shame and regret, moments you wish you could do over. The memory of that mistake, that failure, that sin, plays like a film in your mind, and with each viewing, the shame deepens. You are haunted by a ghost that I have already banished. The things you are punishing yourself for are the very things I have already erased from your record. When you stand before me, I do not see the stain of that sin. I see only the cleansing blood of my Son that has made you pure and whole. Your past has been nailed to his cross. Why do you keep trying to take it down and carry it around with you? You are trying to drive your life forward while staring intently into the rearview mirror. It is consuming your attention, and you are missing the beautiful destiny that lies ahead of you. You cannot walk in the newness of life I offer you while you remain chained to a past that I have redeemed. Listen to this truth and let it sink into the deepest part of your soul. When I forgive, I remember your sin no more. It is removed as far as the east is from the west. It is cast into the depths of the sea. It is a divine, settled, and finished act. So why do you insist on reminding yourself? Why do you appoint yourself as the keeper of a record that no longer exists in the courts of heaven? Do you know whose voice that is? The one that constantly whispers your failures back into your ear. That is the voice of the enemy. He is the accuser. His only strategy against you is to use your history to make you feel unworthy of your future. He knows he cannot change your forgiven status, so he tries to cripple you with shame so that you will be too paralyzed to live out your calling. Every time you dwell on your forgiven past, you are siding with the accuser against the one who has acquitted you. You are believing his lies over my truth. You must stop defining yourself by your worst moments and start defining yourself by my greatest act of mercy. Your identity is not sinner, failure, or addict. Your true identity is forgiven, redeemed, beloved child of God. The penalty for your sin has been paid in full. To continue punishing yourself is to insult the infinite value of my Son's sacrifice. So today, make a choice. When the memory of that past failure comes to your mind, do not entertain it. Instead, thank me for your forgiveness. Declare the truth of my word over the lies of the accuser. Let go of what I have already let go. Your future is too bright to be lived in the shadow of a forgiven past. We have just rolled the stone away from the tomb of your past. Would you truly walk away now before I show you how to live in the light of the resurrection? To leave this conversation unfinished would be to choose the empty grave over the garden I have waiting. Do not grieve my heart by being content with forgiveness alone when I am offering you a new life. Look at your hands, my child. Not with your eyes, but with your heart. Can you feel how tightly they are clenched? You are holding on to your plans, your timeline, your vision for your life with a white-knuckled grip, terrified that if you loosen your hold for even a moment, everything will fall apart. Your meticulously crafted plans have become a fortress you have built against the beautiful, wild, and glorious uncertainty of my will. You have drawn your own map, marking out the roads you believe are safest and the destinations you believe will bring you happiness. And all the while, I am standing beside you, trying to hand you a divine compass that points not to where you think you should go, but to where you were truly created to be. The future you grasp so fiercely is but a shadow compared to the one I have prepared for you. Your imagination is too small, your vision too limited to conceive of the good things I have in store. Your tight grip is not a sign of strength or responsibility. It is a sign of a lack of trust. It is a silent declaration that you believe your wisdom is superior to mine, that your plan for your life is better than the one designed by your Creator. You are so afraid of the unknown, but you forget that nothing is unknown to me. I know the end from the beginning. I see the hidden pitfalls on the path you have chosen for yourself, and I see the unexpected blessings on the path I have chosen for you. You equate surrender with loss, with failure, with giving up control. But I want to redefine it for you. Opening your hands in surrender does not mean you will lose everything. It means you are finally making room to receive the blessings I have been waiting to give you. You cannot receive my gifts if your hands are already full of your own agendas. You get so frustrated with what you call interruptions. The closed door, the unexpected delay, the plan that falls through. You see these things as obstacles, as signs of my disapproval. My beloved, so often my detours lead directly to your destiny. The job you didn't get was protecting you from a toxic environment. The relationship that ended was making way for one that will truly bless you. The path that seemed to be a dead end was actually me rerouting you away from danger. Trust me. My ways are higher than your ways. My thoughts are higher than your thoughts. So I am asking you today to do the bravest thing you can possibly do. Unclench your hands. Offer your plans, your dreams, your timeline, your entire future to me. Let go of how you think your life is supposed to look. Trust that I am a good father, and I will not withhold any good thing from you. Let me interrupt your agenda with my divine appointments. Surrender the map you have made and take hold of my hand. I know the way, and I promise you, the journey with me is far more adventurous and the destination far more glorious than anything you could ever plan for yourself. My child, for too long you have been taking inventory of all the things you believe you lack. You sit in the quiet and make a list in your head. Not enough money in the bank. Not enough experience on your resume. Not enough talent, not enough confidence, not enough discipline. You look at others and you see their strength so clearly, and then you turn your gaze inward and see only your weaknesses. You are staring at your own empty hands, mourning their emptiness, and you have completely forgotten that I am the owner of everything. The entire universe is mine, yet you are worried about the smallness of your own resources. This focus on your insufficiency is a trap. It keeps you small, paralyzed, and convinced that you are disqualified from the very life I have called you to live. You tell me all the reasons why you cannot do what I have asked. I am not a good speaker, you say, forgetting that I gave Moses, a man of stammering lips, the words to confront a king. I don't have the resources, you whisper, forgetting that I fed thousands with a boy's small lunch. I have failed too many times, you cry, forgetting that I chose Peter, who denied me, to build my church. Your list of weaknesses does not surprise me, nor does it disappoint me. In fact, your weakness is the very stage upon which I love to display my strength. You think you need to be strong for me, but the truth is you need to be weak enough to let me be strong through you. Your feelings of inadequacy, that persistent voice that tells you you are not good enough, are a lie from the enemy. He knows that if you ever truly grasp that your potential is not limited by your ability, but is defined by my all-sufficiency, you would become unstoppable. I did not call you because you were enough. I called you because I am enough. I did not choose you because you were qualified. I chose you so that I could qualify you. Stop telling me how big your problems are. I know their size. I want you to turn around, face those mountains of debt, fear, and impossibility, and start telling them how big your God is. Your job is not to have all the answers or all the strength. Your job is to have the faith to turn to the one who does. When you feel that familiar pain of "I can't," I want you to immediately follow it with, "But I know you can." This is the language of faith. It honors me more than any of your self-sufficient striving. So lift your head. Take your eyes off your own empty hands and look at me. I am your provider, your strength, your wisdom, and your victory. Your insufficiency is not your disqualification. It is your invitation to depend completely on me. And when you do, you will see that what I can accomplish through your surrendered weakness is far greater than anything you could ever achieve in your own strength. Not in your stomach, my child. That racing heart in the middle of the night. That endless loop of anxious thoughts that plays over and over in your mind. That is the feeling of worry. And it has become so familiar to you that you have mistaken it for a necessary part of your life. You believe that to worry is to be responsible, to be prepared. But I want to show you what it truly is. Worry is a conversation you have with yourself about things you cannot change. It is a futile attempt to control a future that is not in your hands. It is the act of meditating on fear. And every single moment you spend in worry is a moment stolen from a life of faith and peace. It is an investment in a currency of doubt that pays you back with nothing but exhaustion and despair. Now, think about prayer. Prayer is not a religious duty you must perform. It is a conversation you have with me about things I can change. It is the transfer of a burden from your weak shoulders to my capable ones. It is the act of meditating on my promises. Worry locks you in a prison of your own circular thinking. Prayer opens the door and connects you to my infinite wisdom and power. You have a choice in every moment. You can walk the well-worn path of worry, a road that leads only to more anxiety, or you can step onto the path of trust, a road that leads to a peace that surpasses all understanding. Why do you keep choosing the path that hurts you? Consider the world around you. Look at the birds soaring in the sky. They do not hold meetings to plan for their next meal. They do not lie awake at night worrying about shelter. They simply live in the rhythm of my pavilion. Look at the wildflowers in the field, clothed in a beauty more stunning than any king's robe. They do not toil or spin or strive for their splendor. I care for them. Now, look at yourself in the mirror. You are infinitely more valuable to me than the birds of the air and the flowers of the field. If I attend to the smallest details of my creation with such faithfulness, how much more will I care for you, my beloved child, who is made in my very image? Your worry is a quiet insult to my character. It suggests that I am either forgetful or unfaithful. Trust is not the absence of questions. I know you have questions. I am not afraid of them. Trust is the choice to believe in my goodness even when you do not have all the answers. It is choosing to believe that I am working for your good even when circumstances seem to be working against you. It is handing me the pen and trusting me with the story of your life. So, take my hand. Let go of the need to figure everything out. The path of trust may feel uncertain to your eyes, but I assure you, it is fully known to me. Let me lead you. Exchange your anxious thoughts for conversations with me. Let's walk this road together, one step of trust at a time. My child, who are you performing for? Every day, you step onto the stage of your life and you look out at the audience. You adjust your words, you alter your behavior. You hide parts of yourself, all in the desperate hope of hearing their applause. You are seeking approval from an audience that did not create you and cannot save you. Your opinions are a shifting sand, changing with the wind, yet you are trying to build the foundation of your identity upon it. One day they praise you and you feel worthy. The next day they criticize you or, worse, ignore you, and your sense of self plummets. This cycle is exhausting you. The fear of what people think has become a snare, a trap that has caught you in a relentless cycle of performance and people-pleasing. You were created to be a stunning original, a unique expression of my creativity. But you are trying to live as a copy, sanding down your edges, silencing your unique voice, all in an effort to fit in and be accepted. You are afraid to say what you truly believe because it might offend someone. You are afraid to pursue the calling I have placed on your heart because others might think it is foolish. You say yes when you should say no because you fear disappointing them. This is a prison, my beloved, and it is keeping you from the freedom and the purpose I have for you. You cannot live for an audience of many and an audience of one at the same time. You must choose. Listen to me. I am the only judge whose opinion truly matters, and my verdict on you is already in. Through the sacrifice of my Son, I have already declared you righteous, accepted, chosen, and deeply loved. This is not a temporary approval based on your good behavior. It is a permanent, eternal declaration based on my grace. Is your true and unshakable identity. Why are you seeking the fickle affirmation of humanity when you already have the unchanging adoration of divinity? Living for the approval of others will always cause you to dilute the message I have given you and compromise the mission I have assigned to you. You will trade the potent truth for a popular lie. You will trade your divine calling for a comfortable conformity. I am inviting you today to step off that stage. Find your security not in the applause of the crowd, but in the simple, profound truth of being my child. Let that be the only affirmation you ever need. When you are truly secure in my love for you, the opinions of others lose their power. Criticism will not crush you, and praise will not inflate you. You will be free to be the person I created you to be, to speak the truth I have given you, and to live out the purpose I have designed for you, without fear and without apology. This is true freedom, and it is waiting for you the moment you decide that my opinion is the only one that counts. Fear has built a prison around you, my child. It is a prison with no physical bars, yet it has confined your spirit more effectively than any cell of stone. The walls are made of what if, and the ceiling is made of I can't. You have been living in these shadows for so long that you have forgotten what it feels like to walk in the sun. But I am here today to tell you that this prison has a door, and I am holding the key. That key is my perfect love, and it is time for you to step out into the freedom and light I have for you. Let's name these fears. You are afraid of failing. You look at a new opportunity, a new challenge, and the fear of not being good enough paralyzes you. But I see what you call failure very differently. I see it as a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. It is a part of the process of learning and growing. My grace is big enough to cover every mistake. I am more interested in your courageous attempt than in a perfect performance. You are also afraid of the unknown. The future stretches before you like an uncharted territory, and the uncertainty of it terrifies you. But you forget, nothing is unknown to me. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. I have already walked the path that you are so afraid to step onto. Your unknown is my perfectly crafted plan. These fears are not from me. The spirit I have given you is not one of timidity or fear. The spirit I have placed within you is one of power, of love, and of a sound, disciplined mind. Power to overcome obstacles. Love that is stronger than any fear. And a sound mind that can take every fearful thought captive and make it obedient to my truth. Fear and faith cannot occupy the same space in your heart at the same time. You must choose which one you will feed. Every time you dwell on a fearful thought, you are feeding the fear. Every time you declare my promises, you are feeding your faith. My perfect love is the antidote to your fear. It is not a weak, sentimental emotion. It is the most powerful force in the universe. It is a love that was willing to go to the cross for you. It is a love that conquered death and the grave. It is a love that declares you are mine, forever. When you allow this love to truly saturate every dark and fearful corner of your heart, the shadows must flee. Light and darkness cannot coexist. So, I invite you now, open up those hidden rooms in your heart where you have stored your fears. Let my light, the light of my unwavering, all-powerful love, flood in. As you begin to walk in the light of my promises, you will find that the shadows of fear are cast behind you. They may still try to follow you, to whisper lies from a distance, but they will no longer have the power to imprison you. Step out of the shadows, my child. The light is beautiful, and it is where you belong. My child, you have stepped from the suffocating shadows into my marvelous light, but do not forget the countless souls still trapped in the very darkness you just escaped. If these words have been a lamp to your feet, I now call you to provide the oil that keeps this light burning for a world shrouded in fear. Every seed you sow through your support becomes a beacon on a hill, a lampstand that cannot be hidden, fulfilling my command to let your light shine before all. This is your divine appointment to combat the darkness not just in your own heart, but in the hearts of others who are crying out for a glimmer of hope. As you release your gift, I declare that your own provision will not run dry and the light in your own home will burn ever brighter. So obey this prompting of my spirit. Act now. Use the Super Thanks button, become a member, or go to the link in the description to send your seed of light into the world. You are standing now in my marvelous light, having cast off the shadows of fear. But my child, do you still see yourself as a creature of the dark? To stop listening now would break my heart, for it would be to see my beloved child brought into the palace, yet still believe they are a beggar. Today, let me show you the royal identity that is yours to claim. You live in a world that is constantly measuring you. It measures you by your productivity, your job title, your income, your accomplishments. And you have started to believe its lies. You have linked your identity to your to-do list. Your sense of value rises and falls with your daily output. On a productive day, you feel good about yourself. On a day when you are tired or unproductive, a subtle feeling of guilt and worthlessness creeps in. You have forgotten a fundamental truth, my child. Your worth was established not by what you do, but by the fact that I made you. You are not a human doing. You are a human being. And I am calling you to simply be present with me. Your value was sealed at the moment of your creation, when I knit you together in your mother's womb and breathed my life into you. You were made in my own image. That is the source of your infinite and unchanging worth. If you never accomplished another thing for the rest of your life, your value in my eyes would not diminish one single bit. You are my poetry, my poem, a masterfully crafted work of art. I designed you for good works, yes, but you are not defined by them. Your work is an expression of who you are. It is not the source of who you are. The world may applaud your achievements, but I am captivated by your heart's devotion. I am more interested in who you are becoming than in what you are accomplishing. This pressure to perform, to constantly be productive, is a heavy burden. It steals the joy from rest. It turns hobbies into side hustles. It makes you feel that every moment of your day must be optimized for efficiency. This is not the abundant life I have for you. I created the rhythm of work and rest. I myself rested on the seventh day, not because I was tired, but to establish a principle for you. Rest is not a sign of weakness. It is an act of trust. It is a declaration that you believe I am in control and that the world will not fall apart if you pause. It is in the moments of being, not doing, that you reconnect with me and with your true self. So I am asking you to lay down the world's measuring stick. Stop trying to build an identity for yourself based on your achievements. That is an identity built on shifting sand. Instead, I want you to rest in the identity I have already given you, my beloved child. Let that be the foundation of your life. When you know, deep in your soul, that your worth is not on the line, it changes everything. It frees you to work from a place of rest, not anxiety. It frees you to serve from a place of love, not a need for validation. It frees you to fail without feeling like a failure. It frees you to simply be, and to know that in your being, you are completely and utterly enough for me. My child, let us talk about the one thing you are most afraid to bring to me. That secret you carry, the one that makes your stomach clench with shame whenever it comes to mind. That recurring mistake you keep making, the one that makes you feel like a fraud every time you speak my name. You have convinced yourself that this one is different. You believe you have finally found the limit of my forgiveness. You are trying to earn a pardon that I have already freely given, working tirelessly to pay off a debt that has already been marked paid in full by the blood of my Son. Where your sin abounds, my grace abounds all the more. Read those words again. I did not say my grace meets your sin. I said it abounds all the more. It is a tidal wave of mercy that not only covers your failure but washes it away completely. You cannot outsin my capacity to forgive. To even tries to underestimate the infinite power of the cross. Do not insult the sacrifice of my Son by believing your sin is more powerful than His blood. When you hold on to your guilt, when you punish yourself and live in a state of self-condemnation, you are essentially telling me that what happened on that cross was not quite enough to cover you. You are placing your failure on a throne higher than your Savior. This is a lie from the pit of hell, designed to keep you trapped, powerless, and distant from me. My grace is not a license to continue in your sin. It is the very power that enables you to overcome it. It is the divine strength that picks you up after you fall, cleans you off, and sets your feet back on the right path. It is the fuel for your transformation, not the excuse for your stagnation. Stop trying to make yourself good enough to be forgiven. You never will be. That is the entire point. You do not come to me when you are clean. You come to me to be made clean. I see the accuser whispering in your ear, replaying your failures, reminding you of your weakness. He wants you to believe you are disqualified forever. But my voice speaks louder. My grace is not just a legal pardon, it is a restorative power. It does not just say you are not guilty, it says you are my beloved, in whom I am well pleased. Stop punishing yourself for a crime for which the ultimate penalty has already been paid. Imagine a prisoner whose freedom has been purchased at a great price, but who refuses to leave his cell because he feels he does not deserve it. That is what you are doing. The door is wide open. Walk out. Receive my mercy, not because you have earned it, not because you deserve it, but because I am a God of infinite, radical, and relentless love. Today, right now, I am offering you this grace anew. Not a trickle, but a flood. Let it wash over you. Let it cleanse you. Let it free you. Your greatest sin is no match for my greater grace. You have become an expert at pretending. You put on a brave face for the world, a smile that is convincing enough to keep most people at a distance. You answer, "I'm fine," when your heart is breaking. But I see you, my child. I see behind the mask. I see the hidden fractures in your spirit, the hairline cracks in your soul that you work so hard to conceal. You think no one notices the deep sadness in your eyes when you think no one is looking. But I am always looking. I see the way you flinch when a certain topic is brought up, the way you build walls around your heart to keep from being hurt again. These wounds, some old and some fresh, are dictating your life. They influence your decisions. They sabotage your relationships. They whisper lies to you in the darkness that you are unlovable, broken, and destined to be hurt again. You have your own ways of dealing with the pain. You use bandages to cover the deep injuries of your soul. Sometimes the bandage is busyness. You fill every moment of your schedule so you do not have a quiet second to feel the ache. Sometimes it is distraction. You lose yourself in entertainment, in noise, in anything that will numb the constant throb of your inner pain. Sometimes it is denial. You simply pretend the wound is not there, hoping that if you ignore it long enough, it will magically disappear. But these are just bandages, my beloved. They may cover the wound, but they can never heal the source of the pain. Underneath, the infection of bitterness, resentment, and fear continues to spread, poisoning your spirit. I am the great physician. My very nature is to restore, to mend, to make whole. But I have one requirement. I cannot heal a wound that you will not show me. You must be willing to pull back the bandages, to stop pretending you are fine, and to have the courage to expose the hurt to me. Your brokenness is not a disqualification in my presence. It is your greatest qualification. It is an invitation for my restorative power to flow into your life. The world may see your wounds as a sign of weakness, but I see them as an opportunity for me to display my strength. Let my light into those hurt places. Light is a disinfectant. Darkness and infection cannot survive in my healing presence. So I am asking you now, trust me with your pain. Give me the broken pieces of your heart. You see them as shattered and useless. But I am an expert at creating beautiful mosaics from the most shattered things. That betrayal that broke your trust. Give it to me, and I will teach you to trust again, starting with me. That rejection that made you feel worthless. Give it to me, and I will show you your infinite worth in my eyes. That loss that left an empty void in your life. Give it to me, and I will fill that void with my presence. Do not carry this pain alone for one more day. Let me be the healer you so desperately need. My touch can make the deepest wound a distant scar, a testimony to a healing that only I can provide. There is a heaviness that has settled upon your spirit, my child. It feels like a thick, woolen coat that you have been wearing in the middle of summer. It is suffocating, burdensome, and it saps the very life and energy out of you. This spirit of despair has been your companion for so long that you have started to believe it is a part of you. You wake up with it, you carry it through your day, and you lie down with it at night. It colors everything you see, making the world seem gray and hopeless. You have been trying to fight it with your own logic, to argue your way out of the sadness, but it does not work. That is because you are using the wrong weapon. You cannot fight a spiritual weight with intellectual effort. I have given you a powerful weapon, but you have left it unused. That weapon is praise. Now I know what you are thinking. How can I praise you when my heart is so heavy? I do not feel like praising. Listen carefully. Praise is not a feeling. It is an act of faith. It is a choice you make, a declaration of truth that you speak, regardless of your emotions or your circumstances. It is a weapon that shifts the atmosphere not only in the spiritual realm, but also within your own heart. When you choose to praise me, you are taking your focus off the size of your problems and placing it onto the size of your God. When you magnify me, your problems naturally begin to shrink in comparison. Gratitude is the soil in which the seed of joy grows. A spirit of heaviness thrives in the barren ground of complaint and negativity. You can begin to change the soil of your heart right now. Start counting the blessings I have poured upon you. I know it feels difficult when you are in a dark place, but start small. Thank me for the breath in your lungs. Thank me for the food you ate today. Thank me for the roof over your head. Thank me for one person in your life who has shown you kindness. As you begin to intentionally cultivate a heart of gratitude, you will find that the heavy coat of despair begins to feel a little lighter. Praise is also a profound statement of faith. When you praise me in the darkness, you are declaring your trust that the dawn is coming. You are saying, I do not see the way, but I know the one who is the way. I do not feel the peace, but I praise the one who is the Prince of Peace. This is why I command you to exchange your spirit of heaviness for a garment of praise. It is an intentional act. You must consciously decide to take off the robes of mourning and despair. And then, you must consciously decide to clothe yourself in the radiant garments of joy and praise. How do you do this? You open your mouth. You speak my promises aloud. You play music that honors me. You tell someone else about my goodness. It may feel awkward at first. It may feel like a sacrifice. But I promise you, as you begin to offer the sacrifice of praise, the heaviness will begin to lift. Joy will begin to break through the clouds. You have worn that heavy coat for long enough, my child. It is time to take it off and put on the garment I have laid out for you. My child, you are exhausted from trying to find your footing on shifting ground. You have been seeking stability in things that were never designed to hold your weight. You seek it in your job, but the economy changes and careers become uncertain. You seek it in your finances, but the market rises and falls and unexpected expenses appear. You seek it in your relationships, but people, with all their best intentions, are imperfect and can sometimes let you down. You seek it in your own strength, but you have days when you feel weak and utterly depleted. You are building your life on the shifting sands of circumstances, and that is why you feel so constantly unstable and anxious. You are looking for a firm foundation in a world of perpetual change. I want to offer you a different way. I am your rock. I am your fortress. I am the one constant in a universe of variables. My character does not change. My love for you does not waver. My promises do not fail. Everything else in your life may be shaken, but I remain unshakable. When you build your life on me, you are building on a foundation that can withstand any storm. The winds of adversity may blow, the rains of sorrow may fall, the floods of uncertainty may rise, but they cannot move the one who is anchored in me. I am your refuge, a safe place you can run to when the battle of life rages around you. You have a misunderstanding of what true rest is. You think rest is the cessation of activity. You think it means taking a vacation, sleeping in, or having a day with nothing on your schedule. Those things can be refreshing, but they are not the deep, soul-level rest that you are truly craving. True rest is not about stopping your work. It is about entrusting your soul to my care while you work. It is the internal quiet and calm that comes from knowing that the one who holds the universe is holding you. You can be in the middle of the most chaotic day, facing the most difficult challenges, and still be in a state of rest, because you are not carrying the ultimate weight of the outcome. You have given that to me. So, I invite you, run to me. Do not run from your problems. Run to me with your problems. Find your shelter in my presence. When you feel overwhelmed, picture yourself safe within my fortress, protected from the chaos outside. When you feel unstable, picture yourself standing firm on me, the unmovable rock. And when you cannot stand, when you feel you are about to collapse from the weight of it all, do not be afraid to simply lean on me. I am strong enough to hold you. Your stability is not found in your ability to control your circumstances. It is found in your willingness to surrender to the one who is in control of all circumstances. Stop trying to find your balance on the shifting sands of this world. Come, build your life on the rock, and you will find a rest that is truly unshakable. Here, in the safety of my refuge, your soul has found its rest. But this fortress is not your final home. It is your training ground. It would wound me deeply to see you so content with safety that you forsake the glorious purpose for which I have been preparing you. Do not turn away now. The rest I have given you is the fuel for the journey I am about to reveal. You feel a sense of aimlessness, don't you, my child? A quiet desperation that whispers to you in the lonely moments, "Is this all there is?" You are wandering, looking for a purpose that will give your life meaning and significance. You have been looking for it in all the wrong places. You have looked for it in a career, hoping a job title would define you. You have looked for it in relationships, hoping another person would complete you. You have looked for it in achievements, hoping a list of accomplishments would validate you. But all of these things have left you feeling empty because you are trying to fill a divine void with a worldly answer. Your true calling is not something you can find on a job board or in another person's eyes. Your primary purpose, the very reason you were created, is beautifully simple: to know me and to make me known. Everything else flows from that. I created you with a unique and wonderful set of gifts, passions, and experiences. These were not random. I designed them with intention. That thing that makes your heart come alive, that activity where you lose all track of time, that compassion you feel for a certain group of people, those are not accidents. They are clues I have inscribed on your heart, homing signals calling you back to the specific way I want you to reflect my glory in the world. Stop looking at the person next to you and envying their gifts or their path. You are not meant to run their race. I have marked out a specific course that only you can run, with a unique contribution that only you can make. Your life is not an insignificant accident. It is a crucial and irreplaceable part of my grand, eternal story. The deep longing you feel in your soul, that ache for more, is a good thing. Do not try to numb it or ignore it. It is a sign that you were made for eternity. You are a citizen of heaven, temporarily living on earth, and your spirit will never be fully content with the things of this world. That longing is meant to drive you to me, the only one who can satisfy the deepest desires of your heart. When you align your life with my purpose, you will find a satisfaction that no earthly success can offer. You will discover that your small acts of love and obedience have a ripple effect that extends into eternity. So, I ask you today to stop your aimless wandering. Stop asking the world to tell you who you are and why you are here. Come to me. Spend time in my presence, and I will begin to reveal to you the unique purpose I have for your life. It may not come as a lightning bolt, but as a gradual unfolding, a series of small steps of obedience. Pay attention to what ignites your spirit. Pay attention to the needs around you that break your heart. In the intersection of your passion and the world's pain, you will often find your specific calling. Receive your purpose from me today. It has been waiting for you since before time began, and it is far greater and more fulfilling than anything you could ever imagine for yourself. My child, you are trying so hard to write your own story. You have a plot in your mind, a narrative you believe will lead to happiness, and you are gripping the pen with all your might. You are trying to edit out the difficult chapters, the ones filled with pain, uncertainty, and waiting. You want to skip ahead to the end, to the part where all the conflicts are resolved and you are living in peace and prosperity. You are a writer, but you are not the author. Your story is a part of a much grander one, and your attempts to control the narrative are causing you immense frustration and anxiety. You are fighting against the very plot I am weaving for your good. When a chapter does not go according to your plan, when the promotion does not come, when the relationship does not work out, when the healing is delayed, you see it as a narrative failure. You think the story has gone wrong. But I am the master storyteller, and I promise you, the plot of your life is in good hands. Trust me with the story. You are looking at a single, confusing page, but I see the entire book, from the first word to the last. I know how this chapter of struggle connects to the future chapter of victory. I know how this character who hurt you will be used to develop a depth of compassion and forgiveness in you that you could not have achieved otherwise. You see a tragedy. I see the setup for a story of redemption. You see a dead end. I see a plot twist that will lead to a more glorious path. The faith I began in you, that first spark of belief, I have promised to bring to completion. I will not abandon you in the middle of a confusing chapter. I will not leave the story of your life half finished. My commitment to your growth, to your ultimate good, is unwavering. You are trying to write a simple, safe story. I am trying to write an epic. An epic requires conflict, challenges, and moments where all seems lost. It is in those very moments that the hero's character is forged. You want a life of comfort, but I am calling you to a life of courage. You want a predictable plot, but I am leading you on a grand adventure. Surrender the pen. This is your great act of faith. Let go of your need to control the outcome. Stop demanding to know what will happen in the next chapter. Simply be a willing character who trusts the author's heart. Live out the page I have given you for today with faith and obedience. Your role is not to understand the whole plot. Your role is to know and trust the author. And I promise you, when the final page is turned, you will look back on the whole story of your life, the joys, the sorrows, the triumphs, the trials, and you will see that every single word was written with perfect wisdom and infinite love. The ending I have written for you is more glorious than anything you could ever write for yourself. When hardship comes, what is the first story you tell yourself, my child? When the troubling news arrives, when the unexpected bill appears, when the conflict erupts in your family, I know the question that immediately forms in your heart. What did I do to deserve this? Is God punishing me? You interpret every difficulty as a sign of my displeasure, every struggle as evidence of my anger. This is a painful and devastating lie, and it has caused you to fear me when you should be running to me. I need you to understand a profound truth today. I am a good father, and a good father disciplines and trains those he loves. My response to your stumbles is not punitive anger. It is restorative love. The trials you are facing are not a sign of my rejection. They are often a sign of my deep investment in you. I am not trying to harm you. I am working to make you holy. I am preparing you for your destiny. Think of a blacksmith forging a sword. He takes a piece of raw, unformed metal and plunges it into the fire. The heat is intense, unbearable. Then he places it on the anvil and strikes it with a heavy hammer, again and again. To the piece of metal, this process must feel like a violent and meaningless punishment. But the blacksmith is not angry at the metal. He has a vision for it. He knows that through the fire and the hammer, heat is burning away impurities, strengthening its core, and shaping it into something sharp, strong, and useful. My beloved, you are that sword in my hands. The pressure you are feeling, the heat of the trial, the blows of adversity, they are not random acts of cruelty. They are the tools I am using to forge your character, to build your endurance, and to create a faith within you that is more precious and more durable than pure gold. I am using your current struggle to prepare you for your future assignment. The battles you are fighting today are developing the spiritual muscles you will need for the greater victories of tomorrow. Do not despise the process, even when it is painful. What the enemy intends for your evil, to crush you and make you curse me, I am actively turning for your good. That season of loneliness is teaching you to find your sufficiency in me alone. That financial struggle is teaching you that I am your true provider. That difficult relationship is shaping within you a capacity for patience and grace that will be a blessing to many. The crucible of affliction is purifying your motives and making you look more and more like my son. So when the next trial comes, I want you to resist the urge to see it as punishment. Instead, ask me this: Father, what are you trying to prepare me for? What are you trying to forge in me through this? When you begin to see your trials as preparation, it will change everything. You will stop enduring them with gritted teeth and start embracing them with a faith that knows I am creating something beautiful and strong within you. There are parts of yourself that you despise, my child. You try to hide them, to manage them, to compensate for them. I am talking about your weaknesses, your anxiety, your impatience, your fear of confrontation, your lack of natural talent in a certain area. You see these things as flaws, as liabilities, as evidence of your inadequacy. You live in constant fear that someone will discover them, that you will be exposed as a fraud. But you have misunderstood the very nature of how I work. The parts of you that you see as your greatest weaknesses are the very places I have chosen to display my greatest power. They are not obstacles to my work in you. They are the designated platforms for it. Listen to this paradox, and let it change the way you see yourself. My power does not flow most effectively through your strengths. It flows most powerfully through your weaknesses. When you are strong in yourself, when you feel competent and capable and in control, you rely on a failing and finite resource. You trust in your own talent, your own intelligence, your own willpower. And while those things can take you a certain distance, they have a limit. But when you are weak, when you come to the end of your own resources, when you are forced to admit, I cannot do this on my own, that is the moment you are perfectly positioned to rely on me. Your self-sufficiency is a barrier to my grace. Your weakness is an open door. I am inviting you to do something radical, something that goes against every instinct of your pride. I want you to boast in your weaknesses. The world tells you to project an image of perfection and strength. I am telling you to be honest about your struggles. This does not mean complaining or having a victim mentality. It means having the courage to say, I am not a naturally patient person. So I must rely on God's patience to flow through me. It means admitting I am prone to anxiety, so I must depend on God's peace every single day. When you do this, two things happen. First, you release the exhausting burden of pretending to be perfect. Second, and more importantly, you create a space for my glory to be seen. When people see you, with your acknowledged weakness, accomplishing things you could not possibly do on your own, they will not give you the credit. They will give me the glory. My grace is your all-sufficiency. It is not a supplement to your strength. It is the source of strength in your deepest weakness. Your greatest moments of impact in this world will come not from your polished and impressive talents, but from your raw, honest, and surrendered weaknesses. People are not drawn to your perfection. They are drawn to your authenticity. They are encouraged when they see that I can use someone just like them, someone with cracks and flaws. So stop hiding. Stop being ashamed. Embrace those places where you feel insufficient. For when you can say with genuine confidence, "When I am weak, then I am strong," you will have discovered the secret to a life filled with my unmistakable power. The future overwhelms you, my child. You look at the vast expanse of the unknown that lies before you, and you are paralyzed by the need to have it all figured out. You want the entire staircase to be revealed, illuminated, and guaranteed to be safe before you are willing to take the very first step. You want a detailed, 5-year plan from me, a roadmap with every turn and every stop clearly marked. But that is not how I lead my children. I do not lead by roadmap. I lead by relationship. Your desire for the full plan is rooted in a desire for control. If you knew everything that was coming, you could prepare for it. You could manage it. You would not have to trust me. But faith is built in the space between the step you are on and the next one that is still in shadow. I have made you a promise in my word. I am a lamp to your feet and a light to your path. Think about what that means. A lamp held in your hand on a dark night does not illuminate the entire journey ahead. It does not show you the destination 5 miles away. It casts just enough light for you to see where to place your foot for the very next step. This is how I guide you. I give you just enough light for today. I provide just enough wisdom for the decision you must make right now. I am not withholding the full plan to be cruel or mysterious. I am leading you one step at a time because this is how you learn to walk in moment-by-moment dependence on me. It keeps you close. It keeps you listening. You are so anxious about 5 years from now that you are neglecting the instruction I am giving you for today. You are asking me about a future career change while I am asking you to be faithful and diligent in the job you have right now. You are asking me for a spouse while I am asking you to learn to be content and whole in your season of singleness. Do not miss the importance of today's obedience by being obsessed with tomorrow's direction. Here is a crucial key to receiving my guidance. Your obedience to my last command is the prerequisite for receiving my next one. If you have not yet done the thing I have already made clear to you, to apologize to that person, to be generous with your finances, to spend time in my word, why would you expect me to give you a new, grander assignment? Faithfulness in the small, daily steps of obedience is what qualifies you for the bigger leaps of faith. I am not a silent or distant God. I am speaking. The question is, are you listening? I speak through the clear teachings of my word. I speak through the inner peace or the gentle check in your spirit when you pray. I speak through the wise and godly counsel of trusted believers I have placed in your life. I speak through the circumstances, the doors I am clearly opening, and the ones I am firmly closing. To hear me, you must be still. You must intentionally quiet the noise of your own anxious planning and the clamor of the world's advice. And when I give you the direction for that next step, No matter how small or simple it seems, I want you to move with courage and without delay. Do not overanalyze it. Do not poll all your friends. Just obey. Trust that I see the entire staircase, and as you faithfully take one step at a time, I will lead you safely to your glorious destination. You are now listening for my instruction, poised to take your next step in faith. If you have been asking me for direction, hear this now. This is your next command. Your obedience in this moment is the very seed that allows my voice to travel across these airwaves, reaching other lost and waiting souls who also desperately need their next instruction. You are becoming a river of provision that carries my living water to a dry and thirsty land. As you supply this seed for the harvest, I, the Lord your God, will in turn supply and multiply your seed, opening doors of clarity and provision for the path I have set before you. Do not delay your obedience. Click Super Thanks, join the membership, or use the PayPal link in the description, and watch as I honor the one who honors me with their first fruits. You are now poised to hear my instructions, ready to take your next step in faith. But my beloved, to send you out now without revealing the nature of the battle ahead would be to send a lamb into a den of wolves. It would grieve me to watch you walk into the enemy's snares, unaware and unarmed. Stay with me. There are truths you must understand to not only walk, but to conquer. My child, you must awaken. You have been living your life as if it were a simple stage play of circumstances and choices, but it is so much more than that. You have been fighting a war without knowing you are a soldier. You interpret your struggles through a purely physical, emotional, or psychological lens. You think your persistent anxiety is just a part of your personality. You think your recurring temptation is just a weakness you cannot seem to conquer. You think the division and strife in your family are just the result of personality clashes. And while all of those things may play a part, you are missing the bigger picture. Your struggle is not merely against flesh and blood, against your boss, your spouse, or your own flawed nature. You are in a spiritual battle against strategic, intelligent forces of darkness whose sole purpose is to derail your faith and destroy your life. You have been fighting this spiritual war with worldly weapons, and that is why you are so exhausted and feel so defeated. You have tried to overcome deep-seated patterns of sin with willpower alone. You have tried to fight off the suffocating clouds of despair with positive thinking. You have tried to resolve spiritually fueled conflicts with logical arguments. These weapons are like paper swords against a steel fortress. They are utterly insufficient for the battle you are in. There is an enemy, and he has a personal and strategic plan to attack you. He studies you. He knows your weaknesses, your triggers, and your fears. His mission is simple: to steal the joy I have given you, to kill the hope I have planted in you, and to destroy the testimony you have of my goodness. Do not be naive about this opposition. That sudden, overwhelming thought that tells you you are worthless is not a random feeling. It is a flaming arrow of accusation fired directly at your heart. That intense, out-of-nowhere urge to give up and walk away from your faith is not just you being tired. It is a strategic spiritual assault designed to take you out of the fight. That recurring lie that whispers God is angry with you or you have failed one too many times is the enemy's favorite tactic to create distance and distrust between us. When you begin to recognize these moments not as random feelings but as strategic attacks, it changes everything. You stop blaming yourself and start fighting back. But I do not tell you this to make you afraid. I tell you this to make you aware. For in the same breath that I reveal the reality of the battle, I declare the certainty of your victory. The one who is in you, my Holy Spirit, is infinitely greater and more powerful than the one who is in the world. The war was decisively won at the cross. My Son disarmed the rulers and authorities of darkness and made a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them by the cross. The enemy you face is a defeated foe. Your role is not to win the war. It is to enforce the victory that has already been won. Awaken, my beloved soldier. Understand the true nature of your struggle, and you will begin to access the divine power I have made available for your certain triumph. My child, you must understand the nature of the world you are walking through. You have been walking onto a battlefield every single day, spiritually unarmed and utterly unprotected, and you wonder why you are so wounded by the words of others, so easily defeated by temptation, so overwhelmed by waves of fear. You would not walk into a storm without a coat, yet you are walking into a spiritual war without your armor. You have been trying to fight an armored enemy with your bare hands. It is time for that to change. I have provided for you a full suit of divine armor, not for you to simply admire, but for you to wear. It is a gift, but you must make the conscious choice to put it on, piece by piece, every single morning. First, you must fasten the belt of truth around your waist. This is your foundation. The enemy's primary weapon is the lie. He lies about who I am, telling you I am angry, distant, or disappointed. He lies about who you are, telling you that you are worthless, a failure, unforgivable. The belt of truth is your defense. It is the active choice to wrap yourself in the unshakable reality of my character and my promises. It means when the lie of you are alone comes, you counter it with the truth that I will never leave you nor forsake you. When the lie of you are not good enough whispers in your ear, you counter it with the truth that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. This belt holds everything else together. It is your commitment to live in reality, my reality, not the enemy's deception. Next, you must put on the breastplate of righteousness. This piece of armor guards your heart, your core identity, your emotions, your sense of worth. Notice, it is not the breastplate of your own good behavior. Your own righteousness is like a filthy rag. It is full of holes and could never protect you from a spiritual attack. This is the breastplate of my righteousness, given to you as a free gift through my Son. When you put it on, you are declaring, my heart is safe, not because I am perfect, but because I am perfectly forgiven. My worth is not based on my performance today, but on Christ's performance on the cross. When the enemy fires arrows of accusation and shame at your heart, they do not penetrate. They clank against the righteousness of Jesus and fall harmlessly to the ground. You must consciously put this on, reminding yourself every day that your heart is safe in me. Then, shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. The enemy wants to make you unstable, to make you slip and fall into anxiety and turmoil. These shoes are your spiritual grounding. They give you a firm footing in the middle of chaos because you are standing on the good news of my peace. This peace is not just for you to feel, it is for you to carry. It makes you ready to move, to walk into difficult situations and bring my calm, to stand firm when the world around you is shaking. In your hand, you must take up the shield of faith. This is not a passive piece of armor. You must actively lift it to defend yourself. The enemy is firing flaming arrows at you all day long. They are thoughts, fiery darts of doubt, fear, impurity, despair, and accusation. A single one of these arrows, if it hits your mind unprotected, can set your whole inner world on fire. Your faith is the shield that extinguishes these arrows before they could hit their mark. When the arrow of God won't provide comes flying at you, you lift the shield of faith and declare, my God shall supply all my needs. When the arrow of you will never overcome this is fired, you lift the shield and say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. This is an active, moment-by-moment defense. On your head, You must wear the helmet of salvation. Your mind is the primary battlefield. The enemy wants to get inside your head, to control your thought life. The helmet of salvation protects your mind with the certain knowledge that you are saved, secure, and have a future and a hope. It guards you against the lie that you could ever lose my love or that your eternal destiny is in question. It allows you to think with clarity and confidence, knowing that your ultimate victory is already assured. Finally, you must take up the only offensive weapon I have given you, the sword of the Spirit, which is my word. This sword is not meant to stay in its sheath. You must learn to wield it. This means not just reading my word, but speaking it aloud against the enemy. When temptation comes, you speak the word as Jesus did in the wilderness. When fear tries to grip you, you speak the promises of my protection. The word of God is alive and powerful, and the forces of darkness tremble when it is spoken with faith. My child, do not go into your day unprotected again. Clothe yourself in me. Put on your armor, and you will be able to stand firm against all the strategies of the devil. My child, can we be honest with each other? Our relationship, which was meant to be a beautiful love affair, has somehow become a checklist of religious duties for you. You read my word not to hear my heart, but to check a box. You pray not to enjoy my company, but to present a list of requests and report on your activities. You serve in my name not out of a joyful overflow of our communion, but out of a sense of obligation, or worse, a subtle need to earn my favor. You have become so busy working for me that you have forgotten how to simply be with me. And your soul is growing tired and dry. I desire your heart, not just your service. I long for your presence, not just your presence. Do you remember the early days of your faith? Think back to that time. Remember the simple wonder of it all, the awe you felt when you first realized that the God who created the stars knew your name and loved you. There was a lightness, a joy, a freedom in our conversations. It was not complicated. You would talk to me about everything and anything, not because you had to, but because you wanted to. You were not trying to impress me. You were simply enjoying me. I miss that, my beloved. And I know deep down, you miss it too. I have not changed. I am not a distant deity, sitting on a throne, impressed only by your grand acts of service. I am your Abba, your Father, and I long to walk with you in the cool of the day, just as I did in the garden. I long for the intimacy of our fellowship. I'm inviting you today to come to me with a different agenda. Come to me with no agenda at all. Come to me not with your list of requests, but simply to be with me. What does this look like? It looks like taking 5 minutes in the morning, before the chaos of the day begins, to sit in the quiet with a cup of coffee and say, "Good morning, Father. I'm here. I just want to be with you." It looks like going for a walk and turning off the noise, and instead, noticing the beauty of the trees I made, the feeling of the wind on your face, and talking to me about it as you would with your closest friend. It looks like putting on worship music in your car and singing not as a performance, but as a simple, heartfelt expression of your love for me. It is in these simple, non-transactional moments of communion that your spirit is truly nourished. This is not a distraction from your real work. This communion is your real work. It is the source from which everything else must flow. Your service will become joyful instead of burdensome. Your prayers will become conversations instead of monologues. Your reading of my word will become a treasure hunt instead of a chore. You have been trying to pour into others from an empty cup. Come to me, the fountain of living water, and let me fill you until you overflow. The greatest joy you can ever experience in this life is not found in what you do for me, but in the profound, simple, and life-giving intimacy of our communion together. So please, my child, put down your to-do list for a moment. Forget about what you think you should be doing for me, and just come. Be with me. Your Father is waiting. My child, we have talked about your service, your work for me. Now let us talk about the engine that drives it. For without the right fuel, even the most impressive-looking vehicle will go nowhere. You can perform great acts of service. You can sacrifice your time and your money. You can have all the right doctrines and say all the right things. But my word is clear. If you do not have love, you are just making noise. You are a resounding gong, a clanging cymbal. Your actions may look good to others, but without love as their source, they are empty and meaningless to me. The one thing I require above all else, the motivation that must guide your every thought, word, and deed, is love. This is not a complicated theological puzzle. It is beautifully simple. I have distilled all of my laws and all of the prophets' teachings into two primary commands. First, I want you to let your love for me be the primary motivation of your life. Love me with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the vertical beam of the cross. It is your relationship with me, your adoration, your worship, your obedience that flows from a heart captivated by my love for you. And from that deep, vertical love, a second love must flow out naturally and horizontally. Love your neighbor as yourself. You cannot truly do one without the other. If you say you love me but do not love the people I have created, you are a liar. And if you try to love others with your own finite, human love, you will burn out and become resentful. True and lasting, world-changing love flows from me, through you and to others. I want to give you a very practical tool, a compass that will never fail you. In any situation, when you do not know what to do, when you are confused, conflicted, or uncertain, I want you to stop and ask yourself one simple question. What is the most loving choice right now? What is the most loving way to respond to this critical email? What is the most loving thing to say to my child who has disobeyed? What is the most loving way to handle this disagreement with my spouse? What is the most loving way to use my time and my money today? This question will cut through the fog of your own selfishness, your pride, and your fear, and it will illuminate the path of my will. But you must understand what my love looks like. It is not a passive, sentimental feeling. It is an active, rugged, and sacrificial choice. My love, as demonstrated on the cross, is patient when it is being tested. It is kind when it is met with harshness. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. My love does not dishonor others. It lifts them up. It is not self-seeking. It lays down its own rights and preferences. It is not easily angered. It is quick to forgive. It keeps no record of wrongs. My love does not delight in evil but rejoices with the truth. Though it protects, though it trusts, though it hopes, though it perseveres. This is the love that I am calling you to let flow through you. Let this be the compass that guides your every action. Let the world know that you are my disciple not by the bumper sticker on your car or the correctness of your theology, but by your radical, unconditional, and unmistakable love. That person, my child, the one whose name just came into your mind, the one who hurt you, betrayed you, disappointed you. I see the wound they left on your heart, and I see the chains of unforgiveness that you have allowed to grow from that wound. You are holding a debt against them, replaying their offense in your mind, and with each replay, the bitterness deepens. You may think your unforgiveness is punishing them, but look closely. Who is it truly hurting? Unforgiveness is a poison you drink every single day, hoping that the other person will die. It is a fire you keep stoking in your own heart, and you are the one getting burned. It is a prison you have built for yourself, and you are both the prisoner and the jailer. You feel justified in your anger. You say, "But you don't understand what they did to me." Oh, but I do. I was there. I saw you all, and my heart broke with yours. But I also see something you do not. I see the eternal, immeasurable debt that I have canceled for you. The sins you have committed against a holy God, the pride, the selfishness, the lust, the lies, were a debt so massive you could never have repaid it in 1,000,000 lifetimes. And I, in an act of pure, unmerited grace, wiped your slate clean. I canceled your infinite debt. The debt that you are holding against the person who hurt you, as painful as it was, is infinitesimally small in comparison. You are like the servant in my parable, who was forgiven an impossible debt by his king, only to go out and choke his fellow servant for a few coins. When you refuse to forgive, you are forgetting the magnitude of the forgiveness you have already received. Let me be very clear about what forgiveness is and what it is not. Forgiveness is not saying, "What you did was okay." It was not okay. Forgiveness is not forgetting the pain. The scar may always remain. Forgiveness is not necessarily trusting that person again. Trust must be rebuilt and earned. Forgiveness is this. It is the choice to release that person from the debt they owe you. It is canceling their debt, just as I canceled yours. It is releasing them to my justice, trusting that I am a righteous judge who sees all and will settle all accounts perfectly. And in the very same act, it is releasing yourself from the prison of bitterness. It is choosing freedom over resentment. I know it feels impossible. Your pain is screaming for justice, for revenge. But your refusal to forgive is blocking the flow of my grace and healing in your own life. It is like a clog in the spiritual arteries of your heart. You cannot fully receive my peace while you are clinging to your bitterness. The cross is the ultimate example. As they were driving nails into his hands and feet, my son looked at his tormentors and said, "Father, forgive them." He extended grace at the moment of his greatest agony. That is the same grace I am offering you the power to extend to others. So today, I'm asking you to make a choice. Not a choice based on your feelings, but a choice based on obedience. Forgive not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be at peace. In the quiet of your own heart, speak their name to me and say the words, "Father, I choose to forgive them. I release them to you." It may be a process. You may have to do it 100 times. But each time you do, a link in that heavy chain will break until you are finally, gloriously free. You have just done the courageous work of breaking the chains of bitterness. Your heart is now open and free in a way it has not been for years. Oh, my child, do not turn from me now. It would pain my very spirit to see you walk away from this conversation with a clean heart, but without the divine hope and miraculous expectation I am about to pour into it. The hardest work is done. Stay and receive the glorious reward. Where have you placed your hope, my child? Be honest. You have placed it in temporary things, and you are feeling the constant anxiety of their instability. You have placed your hope in your financial portfolio, and you watch the market with a fearful heart. You have placed your hope in a relationship, and you live in dread of disappointment or loss. You have placed your hope in your health, and the slightest symptom sends you into a spiral of worry. You have placed your hope in your children's success, and their stumbles feel like your own personal failure. You have been trying to anchor your soul to things that are, by their very nature, shifting and uncertain. People, possessions, and positions will all, at some point, fail you. They were never designed to be the anchor of your life. I want to offer you an anchor that is sure and steadfast, one that can hold you secure in the most turbulent seas of life. That anchor is my promises. Unlike the shifting circumstances of your life, my promises are based on my unchanging character. I am not a man that I should lie. What I have promised, I will also bring to pass. Your feelings will fade. Your strength will fail. The world around you will change. But my word remains forever. When you anchor your hope in my promises, you are anchoring yourself to the most unshakable reality in the universe. Hope, in my kingdom, is not the wishful thinking the world practices. It is not a vague optimism that things might get better. Biblical hope is the confident expectation of my goodness, based on the evidence of my character and the track record of my faithfulness throughout history. It is a certainty that looks beyond the present difficulty to the guaranteed future reality. When your feelings tell you that you are alone, you anchor yourself to my promise. I will never leave you nor forsake you. When circumstances scream that your situation is impossible, you anchor yourself to my promise. With God, all things are possible. When your heart is filled with fear about the future, you anchor yourself to my promise. I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. This is how you fight. You do not fight your feelings with more feelings. You fight your feelings with the unshakable truth of my word. The ultimate promise, the one that should put all your temporary troubles into their proper perspective, is the promise of eternity. This life, with all its joys and sorrows, is a vapor. It is a brief moment in the timeline of your existence. Your true home is with me. Your ultimate hope is in my return, in a new heaven and a new earth where there will be no more tears, no more pain, no more death. When you let this glorious, eternal hope become the primary focus of your life, the things that seem so overwhelming today will be seen in their proper, temporary context. This eternal hope does not make you useless on earth. It makes you fearless. It frees you to love sacrificially, to serve joyfully, and to face hardship with an unshakable confidence, knowing that the best is always yet to come. So take the rope of your hope, my child. Stop trying to tie it to the flimsy posts on the shore of this world. Cast your anchor deep into the certainty of my promises, and you will find that your soul is held secure, no matter what storm may rage. My child, you have grown accustomed to a small and manageable God. Over the years, through disappointments and unanswered prayers, you have subtly, perhaps unconsciously, shrunk me down to the size of your own expectations. You have learned to pray safe prayers for things you believe are reasonably possible. You asked for a good parking spot, for a meeting to go well, for a headache to go away. And while I care about even the smallest details of your life, you have forgotten who I truly am. You have settled for a predictable God who fits neatly within the box of your own logic, and you have missed the wonder of the God who created the box. You have protected your heart from disappointment by lowering your expectations of me, and in doing so, you have limited your experience of my power. I am not the God of the reasonably possible. I am the God of the gloriously impossible. I am the one who spoke light into existence out of nothing. I am the one who parted the Red Sea, not by building a bridge but by making a pathway of dry land through the heart of the deep. I am the one who brought down the giant Goliath not with a king's army, but with a shepherd boy's single stone. I am the one who turned water into the finest wine, who healed the man born blind, who told the storm to be still and it obeyed. I am the one who stood before the tomb of a man who had been dead for 4 days and called him back to life. This is who I am, and this is the God who is on your side. Stop limiting me with your unbelief. Your faith is the vessel that determines how much of my power you experience. I am an infinite, overflowing ocean of blessing and power, but you keep coming to me with a thimble, expecting only a few drops. You are afraid to bring me a larger vessel because you are afraid it will remain empty. But I am telling you today, my power is not limited, my resources are not scarce. The only limitation is the size of the vessel you are willing to bring me in faith. Every time you say, "This is impossible," you are putting a lid on your vessel. Every time you dwell in doubt, you are turning your back on the ocean and focusing on your own thirst. I am at work in your life right now in ways you cannot see. You are looking at your circumstances in the natural realm and drawing conclusions based on what is visible. But in the spiritual realm, I am orchestrating events, aligning people, and moving obstacles for your good and my glory. You see only the messy underside of the tapestry I am weaving. You see tangled threads, confusing knots, and colors that seem to clash. But I see the masterpiece that is emerging on the other side. That place in your life that feels the most barren, the most hopeless, that is the very canvas upon which I will paint my greatest masterpiece. A harvest on fertile ground is expected. A forest blooming in a barren desert is a miracle that can only point to me. Your greatest area of lack is your greatest opportunity for a miracle. So get ready. I want you to prepare your heart to be amazed. The season of mere survival is over. The season of simply getting by is finished. The season of divine intervention is at hand. I want you to start looking for my hand in your life with a new sense of expectation. Start praying prayers that are so big, only I could answer them. Dare to bring me the empty, barren places of your life and watch what I will do. Stop telling me what you think is possible and start believing in the God for whom nothing is impossible. My child, after all of this, after you have stopped your frantic striving, after you have laid down your heavy burdens, after you have allowed me to still the storms within you and have quieted the world's noise, after you have released your past and surrendered your plans, after you have clothed yourself in my armor and rediscovered the joy of simply being with me, after all of this, there is one final, crucial thing I ask of you. Simply rest. Rest in the final, unshakable, and ultimate truth of my everlasting love for you. This is the foundation upon which everything else is built. It is the destination of your journey and the starting point for your future. You still believe, in the hidden, guarded corners of your heart, that my love for you is conditional. You believe it is based on your performance. On a good day, when you are patient and kind and you check all the boxes of your spiritual to-do list, you feel my affection. On a bad day, when you lose your temper, when you give in to temptation, when you feel distant and dry, you subtly believe that my love for you has diminished, that I am disappointed and have turned my face away. This is the most fundamental lie you have believed, and it is the source of so much of your striving and your fear. My love for you is not dependent on what you do. It is based entirely on who I am. I love you not because you are good, but because I am good. My love is not a wage you earn. It is a gift you receive. It is based on my unchanging character, not your fluctuating behavior. Nothing, absolutely nothing, can separate you from my love. Let this truth wash over every doubt and every fear. Not death, not the finality of the grave or the fear of your last breath. Not life, not the chaos of your current circumstances or the overwhelming demands of your day. Not the angels above or the demons below. Not your fears for today or your worries about what tomorrow may bring. Not your highest achievement or your most shameful failure. There is no power in heaven or on earth or under the earth that is strong enough to sever the bond of my love for you in Christ Jesus. You are mine. Do you understand the depth of that statement? You belong to me. I have engraved your name on the palms of my hands. It is not written in pencil to be erased when you make a mistake. It is carved, a permanent and loving scar that I see every moment. As I am holding the universe together, your name is there with me. You are forever cherished, forever protected, and forever mine. Let this truth be the final word that silences every other voice. When the voice of shame whispers of your past, let the final word be, I am loved. When the voice of fear screams about your future, let the final word be, I am loved. When the voice of inadequacy tells you that you are not enough, let the final word be, I am loved. So be still now, my beloved child. Stop trying. Stop earning. Stop striving. Just be still and let me love you. This is not another task on your list. It is the end of the list. It is the ultimate rest. It is the simple, profound act of receiving the one thing you need more than anything else. Breathe in my affection. Exhale your striving. You are safe. You are secure. You are, and will always be, unconditionally and everlastingly loved. You are now resting in the unshakable truth of my everlasting love, your soul finally secure. If your heart is overflowing with gratitude for this peace, I am inviting you to let that love take action. Your gift now becomes spiritual manna from heaven, feeding souls who are still starving for the rest you are now experiencing. It rises to me as a fragrant offering, an act of pure worship from a heart that is no longer striving but is secure in my embrace. Where you place your treasure, there your heart will be also. Anchor your heart even deeper in my kingdom by sowing into this mission today. As you give from this place of rest, I will ensure the wellspring of my peace in your own life never ceases to overflow. Release this offering of love now. Use Super Thanks, become a member, or follow the PayPal link below as your first act of worship from your place of rest. My child, your stillness is your strength, and your surrender is your victory. Before you return to the world, let your first movement be an act of faith that makes the heavens rejoice. Seal this sacred moment in the comments below as a declaration against the chaos you are leaving behind. With a heart full of courage, I want you to write these 5 words. I will stop and listen. Let this be the unbreakable vow that marks your new beginning, your first step out of the storm and into my everlasting peace. Do it now, and let all of heaven witness your return to me. Amen.